Hello and welcome! We are Small and Mighty, and today we're going to go on an adventure. How's we all doing? Are we all excited to play?
Yeah.
Very.
A lot of thumbs up today.
Yes.
It's a thumbs up day. Good. Well, I'm so very glad to hear that. So, plan is we're going to play for about 2 to 3 hours, about a short break, about an hour in. As always, this is D&D. This is improv. Anything can happen, so don't hold us too tightly to those times.
Correct.
But yeah. I have it down here that our inspiration token this week is on Brask. Is that right? Did you have it last week?
Yeah.
No, I gave it away.
You gave it to, I think you gave it to Chad, didn't you?
I think so, for his Toxic Masculinity Showdown.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I think
How
Toxic masculinity
will
should
be
turn
rewarded.
romance. You know.
I just
That's
want to
correct.
reassure everyone that Ryan will regret
you
giving
cannot be
Chad
heard.
the. Oh, why can't I be heard?
Can
No, you
anyone hear
can't.
him, or just not me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear Will.
Oh, dear.
I've tuned
Right.
you out. Sorry.
You
Bye.
tune me out. I'm
This
sorry.
is Brian just specifically muted Will.
Just want to reassure
I
everyone
also
that
can't hear
Ryan.
Will.
What's happening?
Oh.
Oh my
No.
Can the stream hear Will?
It's fine.
Check
I mean,
my-
the stream can hear you for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
someone needs to drop out and drop in. It probably is Will, but
Probably
Brian, you have
is.
a test now?
Hello.
Hello.
The stream can
Oh
hear
no!
him.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Okay, so Verity, you drop in and
Fantastic.
drop out.
Oh gosh.
I'm happy to see the
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Everyone is
Isn't
here.
the internet a weird place?
Yes.
Weird, wonderful place.
It sure is.
Where weird and wonderful things happen.
Hmm.
Will, you have the inspiration token. That's where we were at.
And Ryan will regret giving it to me. That's
Yes.
what
Nice. Okay.
Yes, it will definitely be used for good things, and nothing ever will ever go wrong with
Yeah.
that. Cool. So we'll move into a little bit of a recap from last session. So, Small and Mighty, you woke up after having the longest inventory day of your bloody lives,
Yeah.
and were swiftly called down to have breakfast. You were told by the steward, the bust of the steward that is dotted around the mansion, that breakfast would be arrival soon. But before we went down for breakfast, good old Chad and Ethius decided to get a little quick morning workout in there. As he always does. You decided to sort of stroll through the house. I think topless was specified, and made your way to the gardens, the backyard, where, lo and behold, there was already something out there. Your counterpart, as it were, within the squad of misfits, Baron, was out there. Hamish Baron Dawncaster was out there, already running laps around the gardens. So you decided to try and outpace him.
Yeah.
And you quickly found that well, he clearly been out there for a bit longer than you and hadn't done his proper warm-up stretches. And hubris gave way to quite a few stitches as you were badly outmaneuvered by Baron in this moment. But in a roundabout way, it did kind of bring the two of you to be a little bit closer. You started talking. You found out that you and him had met before in your childhood. And Will, do you remember where that was?
was. Oh god, sorry. That was I should have cleared my throat
Lovely.
before I started talking. That was at the tourney tournament. I forget where specifically he's from, but it was the on his family's estate.
Yeah.
In,
So his family,
Riverdan.
the
No, not in
Dawncasters.
Riverdan, just on the other side.
No. So he is a, as we discussed, he's in sort of like an old money family from him in Brattonshire, but he does sort of sit on the closest to the Riverdanian border. And he is from a fort which turned into a town called Angelgate that sits at the edge of the Eremos Wastes. Yes, they held a tourney there, and your family were invited. And you would have gone there one, yeah. And you watched as he kind of recalled the fact that his father beat your father in the old duel back in the day. But yeah, so you sort of reminisced about that. And eventually, you made your way to the breakfast table where you met up with everyone else. There was some mild shenanigans happening around the table as you found things like My brain is gone. I've suddenly forgotten the names of the characters of the Squad of Misfits. Let me just pull that up.
There was Ian.
The Baron.
Yeah.
There's the Baron. There's Chunk.
Oh,
There's
Hello, John.
there's hold on.
Dame Edna Everidge was there.
Gable.
The what? Who?
Gable.
Oh, Gable.
Mhm.
Gable and
Yeah.
Raz are the two twins, the two elves. Chunk is the statue, and then there's Hesperia and Hamish Doncaster, aka the Baron,
Yes.
And Ian.
Thank you.
and Ian.
And Hesperia is the nicest person alive.
So
Oh
nice.
yeah, absolutely.
Lovely, very chatty.
A bonus question you should invent for yourself, so I appreciate that one. Raz is who I was thinking of. Raz was holding some various pranks and sort of like peering behind Pebble, jumping,
Oh,
and
yeah.
trying to make a jump. While Chunk found himself somewhat amused by Brass' appetite, and being a statue cannot eat themselves, were just funneling food in Brass' direction, watching him destroy everything that was given to him.
Oh, we did a little TSA on Chunk, right? We saw like an X-ray. I don't know why. but
Yeah,
there's
soul
like a
so
human-
capture.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, it was
That's
Tali cast Detect Magic, or someone
Yeah.
cast Detect Magic.
Yeah, I think
And yes, you saw there was almost a layering effect of there was like a mortal soul within the statue. And I think it was also Gable who just mentioned to you that that there was a soul trapped within a statue, and that's how
mistake.
Chunk came to be. And no one knows who they are, and Chunk themselves cannot speak. But they don't seem to mind the name Chunk, so... But while you were there, Madame Morgrave explained to you that obviously coming soon, you would need to enter the Labyrinth Librarium. But she also recognised that you have had a long and hard time recently. You could see the the weariness on you guys, and said you guys should have a couple of days to rest. And she said that you will attempt to enter the Labyrinth Librarian on... Do you guys remember which day? It's a funky one because you got to suddenly remember the names of my days of the week. But
yes.
do you remember it?
Solesteria. No, Solesteria is another thing.
You're close, weirdly enough. You got the right
Yeah,
sort of...
yeah. Soul. No, just Soul.
Yeah.
Soul Day.
Well, yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yes, finally.
Sunday.
Finally, I do something.
Essentially Sunday, but this one is Soul Day. So yes, she said come back on Soul Day, which you know it is 2 days' time. So you have the rest of today, one more day, and then it is Soul Day. Yeah. So, and that's obviously me as a DM saying, let's have a little bit of downtime. But
Correct.
to continue with the question, so she announced that, and then you continue to have breakfast. But partway into the breakfast, towards the end of it, a gentleman arrived. This sort of skinny, sickly-looking man arrived, who you realise must be Mr. Green, someone you've seen enter and exit through the guest book. You came across to have a sort of private conversation with Madame Morgrave. There was some talk about how money was being moved around, etc. I think Madame Morgrave announced who he was and said he was essentially the finance secretary to the Councillor of Health within the city and within the nation of Brattonshire. He seemed very awkward by being announced to everyone and tried to make a quick getaway. But Tali, you recognised there was something odd about the guy, and you picked up on while he was talking. You saw the slight, prominent features of fangs within his mouth, and you went to confront him about this. And you had a conversation with him.
Politely.
Polite conversation, in which he was nervous and hesitant to talk about his affliction until you quite bluntly put it as you're a vampire. But do you remember, Tali, who he said caused his affliction?
I do. It's this lovely gentleman who he was set upon by an attacker, but then took him to the broker.
Correct. Yes. He was taken to the broker, which I can't remember if we actually mentioned on stream or not, but that was a name that rings somewhat familiar to Chad as well.
Yeah. And
But
I forgot
it
to
will
trigger,
do. Chad wasn't there.
Yes.
But yes.
Chad is
Sunday.
not currently aware of the two dots that can be joined yet, but is a name that rings true to Will, then, let's put it that way. You then sort of separated to the various sort of downtime type things with Chad, Brask, and Baron going off down to the battle room. this sort of illusionary space that can take on the form of any terrain you want. To just do some sparring. From Chad's point of view, you wanted to understand a bit more about his magic weapon, the Storm Chaser. And what it can do, which you did, and you actually, at this point, skillfully outmaneuvered him, kind of turning his heads a little bit from where it was earlier that morning when you were running around the field. But you guys sparred for quite a bit and understood more and more about what he's capable of and what you're capable of against him. And while that was happening, Tali, you went off with Gable to start getting into some alchemy stuff, where he taught you a bit more about the affliction as you explained it to him. And he said that to create more of the potential cure that my brain is going today.
Bachad.
The green?
Splint.
Splint, that's the one I was thinking of. That Splint had created.
Yes.
Yeah. Splint created, it would need a certain more ingredient. Charlie, what was that ingredient?
Troll's blood.
Troll's blood! You need more Troll's blood! Which you potentially have, back at the pub, with the old bucket full of blood and those arms that are hung up in the basement. Your cellar is full of some weird things, guys.
Dead body, it's fine.
Dead body, got a bucket with a slug in it, and some troll's arms. Like it's if those health inspectors ever come round.
Run away. Didn't we find that the slug wasn't there anymore?
No, it had crawled up into the top of a bucket, so I kind of
it's there.
I faked you out saying it had hidden, and actually it was still there.
That's
but yeah, if a health inspector ever comes around, your basement is not passing any.
We don't serve food. It's fine.
You do serve food.
Oh shit! That's true.
I cook it.
We don't serve anymore.
No, I'm not cooking that.
We don't serve food.
There are only
Helga cooks it.
apart from the recent addition of like the orcish bartender. There's only ever been two characters in that pub. There's a bartender and a cook. So you definitely cook food.
The
Health
bartender.
standards aren't a thing at this time.
Yeah, of course not.
The bartender was like a guest only on one episode. Like, then he disappeared.
How would they hide?
Some reason.
Well, I'm talking about Bachard. Bachard is a bartender.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He's the pub owner and bartender.
I thought there wasn't like another one at some point.
Yeah, well, you've got the
Rachel,
orcish lady who I'm also forgetting. I'm just forgetting everyone's names.
I don't have that one to hand.
It'll come back to me. It's fine.
Anyway.
Teog. There you go.
Oh yeah. Good old
That one I have written down better. Yes, the Trolls Lodge want to need more of that. That's fine. While that was happening, Christine and Pebble, you went up to the library to read a few books, and Christine, you had a chat with Madame Morgrave about sort of Genesis relics and etc. And while you were doing that, you ran into some old friends. Do you remember who they were?
Yay. Go. No, well.
Both of you.
I run into my beloved pug, Spud, alias Icredor is the crow.
Dora, yeah.
Yes, good old Dory.
Good old
I love that name so much. Yes, so
Scrim.
Icredor,
Yeah, Scrim.
Icredor and Scrim/Spud came to find you in the library, who you haven't seen since they disappeared.
Yeah.
And you did watch, I think, at the end as Icredor flew off, I think, after a discussion with you, Christine, and landed on the shelf and turned into a stone statue.
Here's the thing, right? Scrim helped by giving me a book on what I wanted to research.
Yes.
Icredor offered help, and then he just got salty and turned into a statue.
What a surprise!
Yeah.
Icredor gets salty. That's never happened before. So yeah. So
I
that
think
is.
also there was with the alchemy stuff with Gable, they wanted to like do the research on like more about the disease to try and like, mass produce the cure, so that it's not just producing one cure for one person. So I think Tali was actually on her way to the library to try and find out more info about the disease.
That is a good point. Cool. Yes, that's the end of our recap. So this is normally where we jump back into where we left off, but we're actually going to do some admin, guys.
Wow!
A little bit of admin.
Who doesn't love
first.
paperwork? Tali loves
I
paperwork.
hope I'm getting paid for this.
Bad babe.
So, something I promised you a little while ago, and I've only just got around to finishing, is we're going to talk about all that money you guys collected from
All
that
that
trade.
money?
Oh
You got a bunch of money from that train that you stopped.
All the cargo, yeah.
And it was split 3 ways. One was the repairing the five fellows. One was sort of distributed out to the poor folk of Darrett. And then one, I promised you, I would give you a list of things you can upgrade the pub with.
Woo!
So we're going to sit here and we're going to review those options.
Very good.
More leaks.
So I'm about to put a link in the chat, everyone. And hopefully this gives you access to it. So if you jump on the chat.
In the which chat? In
jump on the...
Or in the
no, not Twitch chat. I'm not laying out.
Everyone can join.
Yeah, I was a bit scared, but I didn't want to question your...
Get the stream
my artistic.
Ooh.
So you should bring you to a mirror board.
Hey, and it's in the stream now. Fantastic. Everything is going well.
Cool. So the way this is going to work is essentially, instead of like worrying about money in itself, I've just said you have 7 upgrade points to spend, which you can spend across some options. Hopefully you'll start seeing this soon. So I've given here some example options. Now we can discuss other things if you guys think of other things, and I will then give a value to it. But the example options we have here are as follows. So you can reinforce the doors. So this will essentially be taking the sort of front and back doors of the pub. Instead of where they're now like big oak doors, basically making them like steel doors to kind of prevent anyone from knocking them down. It would also be improving the locks in those doors so people couldn't pick lock them easy in there. There is a panic room that you can put in the cellar. So this is in case, again, under attack, someone like Bachar can go in and run to a panic room. Hire a mercenary. This is one you can pick this a few times if you wanted to, so you can have more than one. This is essentially, get some bouncers and some good people to kind of look after the pub when you're not around. The one thing I'll say with hire a mercenary is this initial point will buy them, but then there will later be a reoccurring cost to kind of maintain them. But that can be subsidized from the profits the pub makes itself. So we can discuss that depending on how many you get and who they are. And I've got something else about the mercenary in a second, so I'll come back to that. An alarm bell tower, so essentially just a tower at the top of the pub, which has a big, alarm bell that can be rang, so just to alert other people that something bad is going on. If you wanted, we could get some jail cells down the cellar.
Ooh.
So instead of tying people to posts, you can actually just have some prisoners if you wanted. You could have a new water well dug in the yard outside the pub, so people don't have to run down the road to find water in case of another fire.
Fire again, yeah.
That's convenient.
You can have a secret escape tunnel into the sewers, or you could potentially blow your entire budget on one thing and have a stone golem protector.
How does one find that? Like, what's the storyline behind it?
So, based on what you pick, I will create storylines to kind of justify this later. So this is obviously a little bit above table right now. We're not really talking about the role-play implications yet. But if you go, we want to have a stone golem protector, maybe Bachard knows someone. He needs to be an adventurer.
There are the law enforcement robot things, aren't there? So those kinds of things do exist.
Yeah. So depending on what you guys decide you want.
Don't mind us, it's just our giant robot.
Yeah. I don't know.
In terms of the golem, so if you did have that one option, it would probably it would appear like a statue in the tavern or outside the tavern that should attackers come would then activate. So it would be disguised up until that point.
Cool.
Would there potentially be an option for reinforcing windows? A lot of the attackers and attacks and things came in via windows in that thing.
We also got out via the windows.
Yeah, we also did get to break through. Also, similar point. Could I have a bigger window entirely so we could get up as well? So there's multiple, so there's another way out that is, if someone came in on the ground floor, we could all just leg it up there and get out the window at the top.
We'll go reinforce/improve windows, and that'll cover that.
Windows XP. Sorry.
We just get better beer.
A fireman's pole.
Yes.
Correct.
A big slide that goes around the outside of the building.
I'll do a fireman. Not on the slide, but fireman's pole. I'm alright with that.
Okay.
And just while we'll discuss it, so the other part of this is if you do want to hire mercenaries, which I fig might be a more common option. I've made a little table over here, which I'll reveal now. This is our mighty mercenary maker.
Ooh.
So if you want some, so what I've done instead of just being like we're going to hire 7 mercenaries, is we will determine how many mercenaries are available, and then we're going to randomize who those mercenaries are. They will have a class, a race, and a floor. And then we will basically pick our candidates list, and from that you can then decide how many mercenaries you want. No. Should you want mercenaries? If you don't want mercenaries, we'll leave this alone.
That's kind of fun, though.
I like mercenaries. I'm just slightly concerned that if we don't pay them enough, they're gonna rat us out, or if they get captured, they're just gonna give us up because they're not paid enough for this shit, right? They're a weakness as well as a.
Also, like, we are already, mercenary-ish enough, in a way.
Yeah, so this is a distinction in that you guys are essentially like adventuring mercenaries. These would be... I'm using the term mercenaries because that's kind of how D&D works. What these are effectively is they are bouncers for your pub.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes, definitely bouncers for the pub.
Yes. But also, when I say bouncers, if you look under the class section, they can't be a spellcaster, so...
Oh.
That's awkward.
That's...
Could I add something to the Windows? Sorry, I'm focused on Windows.
That's all right.
That's thing.
I'm a Mac fan myself, but it's all right.
I mean, no, I'm Linux. But yeah, anyway.
But potentially something that might be more useful either as an alternative thing or as part of the reinforcing and improving would be at the very least the non-ground floor windows being if we could make them either like really tinted or like one-way mirrored
kind of like blackout windows,
so they're difficult to actually see into, because that was one of the things as people I'm thinking of like the shooters that we had on the roofs seeing us through the windows. To actually make those difficult to look through might be more useful than actually making the windows stronger, possibly.
You can also just buy a blackout blind. It's like that's a thing, right? Or like
maybe.
That's something. But
then your rooms are always going to be dark. There's a way of like if we can have like I don't know magic windows or I don't know.
Magic windows in the city that hates magic. Good idea.
Alchemy is a common practice in this, and alchemy is an acceptable form of like magical things. We can argue that sort of thing exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to stop talking about windows now. Anyone else?
It's good.
I like the idea of having multiple escape routes.
I do have a lot of
I think that was the thing when we got attacked. We didn't really have. We kind of were a bit screwed. We didn't really have anywhere to go. There wasn't really, we were limited in our options.
I agree.
Like, reinforcing stuff is also tempting, but then also panic room, because Bouchard and Helga, they could have gone to the panic room and not got kidnapped. That would have been nice.
Is it a given that like the holes in the floor and stuff will just be fixed in the rebuild anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so general repairs to the pub is already covered. This is all entirely for like improvements beyond where it started.
Can we just add another floor? No reason.
Turn it into a skyscraper.
Like in between some of the existing floors.
I mean, you could argue, if you want, we could argue have like a secret base kind of thing built under it. Like a war room type of situation, built like a second cellar. You could look into that sort of thing.
Mighty cave.
How much
Mighty
would that
cave.
Be? How much would that be?
For a whole cave, I'm probably gonna put that at maybe like 4 or 5. Half a point. Yeah, half a point.
So that we have to be smart about.
We have to be smart and mighty. I'm inclined towards. Well, I mean, this mighty base is kind of cool, but also just the panic room is good.
I like the idea of the panic room. I think, but when we have like non-fighty,
and so is the secret escape as well. The secret escape is like.
Could the panic room also be used as like secure storage?
It could.
Yeah, in theory.
It's because we're sort of like this Silverate greatsword that we're lugging around everywhere. We might at some point be like. Maybe let's just leave that.
Yeah.
Not have to carry it around.
Like valuable, like a place for valuable stuff that we find, right?
Yeah.
I like Can we?
Yeah, panic room /safe. Then
Can we move stuff?
I haven't set you how to move stuff. Would you like to be able to move stuff?
I mean, it just might be easier to start. Like,
I'll let you guys move stuff.
Maybe if we come up with things that we don't want right now and things that we might want, and then we can whittle that down further. Because
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
right.
You should now be able to edit and move stuff around.
So I'm gonna check the panic room for safe remove.
Neat.
Yep.
I'll check the escape room, and we can just kind of put this here for now, and then just figure out what ones we don't want, and then then figure out how to make it, how to afford it later. What else?
I do like the water well.
Yeah, I like the water well. So
Yeah.
I'll check over.
It is a good price for water well.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Good one.
I'm not super feeling the alarm bell tower personally.
No,
Yeah,
that feels like it's attention grabbing.
Wi-Fi.
The alarm bell, yeah, no, that demote that put it down. The windows, yes, definitely.
Which bit of the windows? The reinforced one or the blackout one? Or would you consider both? You can. I can check them both
for a pub, I wouldn't do a blackout, but that's just me.
But it was the upper floor windows, wasn't it?
Yeah, so ground floor, to keep up appearances, we'd probably just leave the ground floor ones as they are.
But it's so sus. It's so suspicious to have like blackout windows suddenly on the first floor. It's just gonna raise suspicion.
What were you gonna say?
I mean, it's a good idea.
Say about, I was going to make the point about having blackout windows just for our rooms and places we might things that we don't want people to see. We want people to see the pub.
Look, instead of blackout windows, I would do curtains. Like, honestly.
What about frosted windows?
That's so normal.
You could get like frosted stained glass windows, so it's pretty, but you still can't see in.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but we then can't see out as well, right?
I would do curtains.
Sometimes you might want to do.
Curtains are like super
Curtains
non-suspicious.
are how we fix this, right? Like you have to.
But then, like a curtain, like during the day,
it's lovely.
You're gonna then just like have a dark room. I was like, how can we like?
Exist, right?
That's very true.
How can we like let light in? My thought process was how can we let light in and still be able to see out?
But if you have truly blackout windows, not that much light's going to get in, right? Because they're blackout windows.
So this is what we're talking about, like alchemy of like if it's sort of like we can see out of them, but like if there was someone with a gun, if there was a guy with a gun on the rooftop, they wouldn't be able to see us, but we can see out. That's what I was going for because it's like
bulletproof windows.
Oh, could that count under reinforced?
Yeah, that counts as a reinforced.
Yeah, and it would be in that realm.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the best of both worlds in that we'll still be able to see them, but they can't shoot us, so it would be all right. But they'll probably be quite hard to break out of them.
We can still open them. You just couldn't sort of charge through.
Bullets can't.
No. The bullets sort of walk up and gently open the window.
So I've put reinforced doors over in the possible chosen ones because I think that's quite a nice one. How do we feel that everything that's in the example options? Anything else anyone wants to super go with?
Shit! I did something.
I
was kind of kidding about the fireman's pole, obviously, but
it's tempting. But I think
maybe one day we have like a Ghostbusters. We have like a Ghostbusters sort of set up.
Team vehicle. That's what we need.
Just
garage.
Can
the Mighty-mobile.
To the Mighty-mobile.
Let me pack them more closely
one day
so the stream can see.
I'm putting that down as one of my long-term goals is for us to have a Smitey-mobile.
Okay. That doesn't the stream.
We can just put them like 2 by 2.
Oh.
I think that there is a solid argument for at least one mercenary.
How about we roll up some mercenaries because you might change your mind if we get really bad options.
I think we should decide to do it and then
then see what we
blind hire some candidates.
I'm aware that makes it potentially worse for us, but I think that's the more fun way to do it.
Kind of nice.
We can put mercenary in the category of possible because we can't afford all of these anyway. I'm not sure on the mercenary.
I'm not committing you to any of this stuff yet anyway, so don't worry. But
yeah, I don't know about the mercenary because we have to make sure they can keep secrets.
Yeah.
So they need to be well paid.
But
And then if
Jenny
they ever
Outlaw.
get like accosted when they leave the pub, they might just up because they're
So
not
true.
they're not loyal to us for any particular reason apart from money, right?
Also, the last time we trusted someone who was a local business
I was
person
thinking
other than
about
the
Jenny,
charge turned
yeah.
out to be the Crow. So
Yeah, you never know who they're working
yeah.
with, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea, like for security, but something just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Personally. But I'm happy if the group wants to go with it. Okay.
the one advantage of having something like a mercenary as well is like also they would act as a bouncer, but you could also then get them. You could delegate certain tasks to them. Like if you ever needed to go run and get certain ingredients, or they essentially also act as a sidekick / like a hireling kind of thing. So.
Lovely.
Yeah.
The other aspect of the mercenaries is whether the child trusts them.
So to a certain degree, the whole point of the candidate pool.
From, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, the certain point of the candidate pool is Burchard has gone out and found these people. So there is a.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
There is a certain level of trust. Like, again, there's a
That's
flaws
not
table, so defined like evil. But
Yeah, I think
Burchard has
if
somewhat vetted these people coming in. That's the idea.
If we go for a mercenary, I think we should do like, I don't know, where we roll 2 of them and then pick out of the 2 based on like a job interview, but virtual.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to roleplay out a job interview in a bit, we can get to that. But let's go do. Just did the reverse of the first session of this game. Right, so let's figure out what candidates we have then. So, who would like to start by rolling me 2d4 to decide how many candidates are available?
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Verity.
Go for it.
Roll. Roll. Oh no. Roll.
Roll your dice gently on the string.
3.
3 candidates available.
Nice.
So, let's get rid of that there. So, fine. Cool. Okay. Coming up next then. So, can someone roll me a d8? We're going to decide the class of the first candidate.
I'll go.
I roll. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I did an 8.
You roll one of those? So
Got
8.
8.
Yeah.
I got 8.
So,
Yeah.
Spellcaster. Fuck yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, stick in this space. Someone else roll me a d8. We'll decide the class of the next person.
I can do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
D8.
I like it.
3.
3, so that's a warrior.
Warrior.
And then someone roll me one more d8.
7.
7. That's an expert. There you go, one of each. Perfect.
Hey, what
I
is
should
an
say-
expert?
I was about to say, with these classes, by the way, so these are specific to, there's a sidekick mechanic that came from one of the books. So they're kind of like, they're more reduced classes. So an expert is a bit like a rogue, and a bit like a bard. A warrior is a bit like a fighter, but also a bit like a barbarian. And a spellcaster is kind of a mishmash between all of them. So they're kind of like these kind of reduced classes. They have less features than a whole character, to make them easier to run as sidekicks. Okay, we'll come on to the race table next. So, someone roll me a d12 and decide the race of the spellcaster.
I'll do it.
Go for
Go
it.
on.
E. Oh. Roll.
Say again.
8.
8.
Elf.
So you have an elf, so like yourself.
Okay.
Verity.
Ah.
Someone roll me a d12 to determine the race of the warrior.
I'll go. I got a 6.
6, an orcish warrior.
That's very convenient.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the expert.
Go on.
La la la. D12. Oh shit. D12. Sorry.
Sorry?
Good. I did a 7. Oh.
Another orc.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping we'd get a nerve him. It'd be kind of
Yeah,
I was
same.
hoping for a dragon.
Yeah,
trauma.
Yeah. And now the floors. So for the spellcasters, I'm roll me a d6.
I can do it.
Go for it.
4.
4. I can't help but pocket loose coins and trinkets I come across.
That's
okay.
great for a
I think
pub.
that's not too
Never
bad.
let them into the panic room.
basically
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now from roll me d6 for the warrior.
2.
2. Once someone questions my courage, I never back down from a situation, no matter how dangerous it is.
Ah, that's noble. I love it.
I dig that.
And someone roll me a d6 for the
Feel
expert.
that.
May I?
Yes. Yes, you.
Ooh, I got a 5.
5. When faced with a choice about money and my friends, I usually choose money.
Great.
Lovely. Well, we have our.
So these are your candidates.
Very nice.
Great.
Cool. All perfect.
Perfect.
Yep.
We'll take them all.
Always.
We'll take the lot.
So.
Okay. Wait. So how many points are we over by at the moment? So we got this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need to get rid of 2 things. We're 9, and we have 7 points. Okay. Well, two things that cost 1 each, or 1, or the panic.
Huh.
I also want to ask, like, this is the stuff that if we don't get stuff today, like, I'm assuming, is there a chance that in the future we'll continue to upgrade?
Yeah. So obviously you're not limited to. This is just from the money you got from that big chunk. You can of course pour more of your personal expenditure into the pub to upgrade. So we can come back to some of these options or other things.
Because we do have like they are emergency funds, / shared funds. So potentially we could, come back to that.
Yes, I would say come back to that. I would have to think about actual money if we have to do that. Which,
like, for example, we could maybe use that to hire a mercenary, right?
Yeah,
because that's
absolutely.
probably less money. Like, because you pay them a wage, it's probably less money than just an orc.
If you want to do that, that one's the only one I could probably figure out now because there are rules for that I can go and look up. But if you want to do anything else, that would we'll do it later on because I'm not sure how much a water well would cost, for example.
I think that the panic room and the secret tunnel are sort of achieving the same thing in terms of being a safe retreat for whomever is in the pub. So maybe we don't need both.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the dual purpose of the panic room also being a safe makes that one slightly more appealing.
Well, I guess the sewers aren't safe though, right? Like, because if Bochar just ran into the sewers, it's probably not
going to happen there. Yeah.
It also potentially means that people could then get access to the pub via the sewers.
I mean, if it's secret, but yeah.
Yeah, but if someone accidentally stumbles
But that can also be a benefit for you guys potentially as well. Like if you're ever wanted by the Justicars, you can sneak in through your secret tunnel. Obviously, it goes both ways.
That is true.
Never be on the run from the law.
It's never happened before. It never will happen.
Magic police might.
If we didn't go for the secret escape tunnel into the sewers, we could hire 2 mercenaries.
Yep. True.
Yeah.
And then have the rest. Yeah, that
How
can be a
much do
plan.
mercenaries cost in straight money?
Let me have a look at it.
So I want to just compare with like the money we have in the party fund to see like can we actually just do that out of our own money anyway, and then it becomes a it reduces the amount of stuff we need to choose between.
Good.
Go and figure that out. No, that's all right.
The escape tunnel can be to the panic room. If we do it is there
panic room and then there's also
a safe that is somehow less safe.
Let's rig the whole building to be a panic room. So metal shutters drop down.
That'd be so cool. That would be so cool.
Lock everyone in.
Can we do that? How much would that cost? I'd be so happy.
If you wanted to do the whole thing into a big panic room, that's going to be all 7 points, I think.
What if it also had legs and could get up and walk around like a golem?
House moving castle.
Let's just make the pub movable.
Or that film about moving cities, which was horrible. I don't remember.
Or
just feel the loft full of balloons.
I'm thinking the thingy's castle, Dracula's castle in Castlevania, where he has basically a D20, he just spins it and then it teleports somewhere.
That would be such a good mechanic rather than a panic room, just like a panic teleport.
Just get me the fuck out of here.
What is it? Is it the improbability drive from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah.
True.
Oh,
we'll be somewhere, but
who knows where?
Tangent. Adam, can I an Arcana check see if Christina knows of anything magical that might protect the pub.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, roll me an Arcana check.
14.
14. So yeah, so beyond like what we're talking about here, like a stone golem, which is obviously a magical thing, there are like spells that could be cast on the pub. So, for example, there's something like the alarm spell, which is quite a low-level spell. It can be cast essentially a circle around the pub, and it makes like a mental ping when someone like basically someone not allowed would pass through a door or a window or something.
Like, it doesn't last for
but
that
so
long.
we could push that to basically become a permanent feature. There are I'm trying to think what else. There's some very high-level stuff. So like. The funny thing is, if you were trying to protect the pub from specific things, like say demons or something like that, there are specific spells that can do that sort of thing. But because you're trying to protect the pub, well, obviously the thing that has happened in the pub before has been like attacked by just human beings. Defending against that sort of stuff is actually a little trickier in terms of magic. I'm trying to think what else there is.
Or like, is there like a Harry Potter-esque spell that like makes people, unwanted people, like not notice the pub?
Chameleon circuit.
Yeah, potentially. So, yeah, there's definitely an option. The tricky thing you'd have with that is that might scare off some of your customers. Because at the end of the day, you still are trying to run as a legitimate business as well, which is obviously funds your income. So if you start doing too much things to prevent access, then it becomes a problem to your regular day-to-day working. So,
Good to know.
Having like a permanent alarm spell effect on the area around possibly the panic room and or like the secret tunnels would then notify us if someone used those. It would mean it'd be a bit awkward for the panic room being also a safe, so maybe not for the but like something that would trigger on, like someone going into a specific area that they shouldn't normally be going into because something's gone wrong.
Yeah, I mean the way that the alarm spell works, you can designate creatures who don't trigger it. So you can basically have the panic room alarmed up, so that if anyone who isn't one of you guys, or Bachard or Helga, goes near it, that could send off a mental ping to you guys. There is a distance limit. You have to be within 1,000 yards of it.
So it won't actually like alert us if we're too far away.
No. Alternative, you can do is instead of having the mental like alarm, you can have it make an audible alarm instead, which means anyone nearby would hear an alarm. So again, if you hired a mercenary, you could have it so they could hear the mental alarm, the audible alarm, instead of worrying about a mental alarm. So.
Did we find out how much mercenaries cost?
I'm still working on it. Okay. Everything I looked at is redirected to a different section.
Oh.
Just weird set of redirects within the books, so I'll get in there. Hireling. So for a skilled hireling, it is 2 gold per day.
Okay.
That's a bit.
What is that? But you don't have
So 20 silver a day.
No, it's more than that, isn't it?
10 silver.
10.
Oh, sorry, 20 silver per
20
day.
silver a day. That's a bit. That's quite.
Oh, we actually are you like because you said that obviously if we use points to get the mercenary, you'd figure out the money later. Would it just that much a day?
Yeah, so basically, if you use points today, it would cover you for a certain period of time, maybe like a month or something. I haven't figured out the balance of it yet.
Cool.
Whereas if you just use your actual money, then it's through paying. Again, you can try to subsidize this from the expenses of the pub, though.
Yes. And how much the pub makes.
Yeah.
What I'm also kind of covering in the point system here is a bit of the actual legwork involved in getting candidates. But again, we can just cover it that way if you want. Tell you what, I'll change the way we're going to work. We can do it one of two ways. You can either have 1 point per mercenary you hire, or 1 point spent, which is the legwork of looking for candidates, but then the entire costs of the mercenaries can come from personal funds.
Ooh.
So at least 1 point needs to be spent on mercenaries, and then you can have access to mercenaries, which you can use your actual money on.
For context, in the emergency party funds, we have 333 cents. So we have
say again, 300.
333. 333.
And that's silver, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we have a little bit.
So you could cover one mercenary for 15 days on that.
15 days is. I mean, I was gonna say 15 days is too short, but then we've spent.
But that's also not subsidizing the pub. Like that's not using the pub's profits to subsidize it. Is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that next because these are all things I haven't really looked into too much. Which is fun.
All right. So in the meantime, right? Let's go around. What are people's thoughts on like what we should get rid of? And Ryan, you were saying you don't feel like the panic room and the secret tunnel, like that they kind of cancel each other out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think we need both. So I would probably get rid of the secret tunnel. The two. But I'm open either way.
I mean, the pub. Surely around the pub, there's like entrances to the sewers anyway, right? Because they are sewers.
Yeah, they're somewhat nearby.
Yeah, I'd get rid of it as well. I find it like less bang for your buck than the rest. Sorry.
Also, how many doors does the pub
have?
have?
I would say it doesn't have just one door. Well,
you have 3 doors. You have a front door, there's a side door, and there's one door in the kitchen.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if reinforced doors.
Yeah, I feel like we could probably get rid of that and then just have 2 mercenaries patrolling.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Out of the mercenaries we have, to me, the warrior seems the only because number 3 is gonna just rat us out for more money if someone offers them extra. And then the first one is just gonna steal all our shit. So can we really leave him alone with like all of like the stuff that we leave in the pub?
It says pocket loose coins
and other trinkets.
I think that's only if we leave stuff lying around. Like as long as they don't go in, they're not allowed into the safe. Probably be okay. But yeah, I think 2 is definitely the better one.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, do we want?
We get some references for these guys.
No.
Yeah, because number 1, it's more like kleptomania than outright thievery.
Yeah, but if we have
they might skim some of your tips. Basically, they're not gonna like try.
But if there's a small little magic item lying about, like our horn of silent alarm or our fast sight glasses, I'll just pick that up, right? Like that's what
could also just be, a box of eggs. I'll take those.
Yeah. Hey, a drunk guy left coins on the table. I'll take those.
It'd be great if it was just eggs. They just really love stealing like just rats eggs.
It's got a weird thing for just eating raw eggs and doesn't want anyone to know. So, no, but it's just shell just around their mouth, and you see them like, no, nothing. I've not seen any egg thieves, I'm afraid, today.
No.
So we'll keep an eye out. There's still some egg thieves around. I'll tell you no.
I also feel like reinforced doors, we could achieve the same thing with just like barricading them.
Right,
it'll take obviously it'll take like time to barricade a door, but like because if a door's unlocked, you don't need to reinforce it. Because it's just like they just open it.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and if it's locked,
it's
then
a pub. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to do something to roll to get in.
I do. Honestly, the surface area of if we have the windows reinforced, we can talk about only having one mercenary. I mean, they go together, don't they? The mercenary would only have to be on the
one mercenary. We still need to get rid of one more thing. We're still over by 1.
Oh, are we?
Because we were at 9, so now we're at 8. We're down to 7. So either we get rid of one of the bigger things.
I'd agree with getting rid of the secret tunnel.
Yeah,
I had the fireman's pole. Why not?
Okay, by democracy vote, we'll get rid of it. I think it'd be really useful. But if the party don't,
I think long term, it'd be really cool.
Oh, for sure.
And like maybe have it like go into like the cellar, or maybe have the panic room have like an extra, like having a secret tunnel that lets us sort of secretly go in and out would be wicked. But in terms of like responding to the threat that we've just fought off, the panic room is probably the
But the panic room is there's no way when you go in and you lock it. There's no way out. So like it wouldn't have helped. It wouldn't have helped us in the last fight.
I mean, there is. Bear in mind, this is the world that has magic in it. In theory, you could have a panic room that you physically lock, but then have a magical escape inside it. So there's always ways to do things like this. Like you can have a teleporter that teleports you into the sewers or something.
Yeah. Well, and the
or
panic
out of the country, like whatever.
Yeah, and the panic room's less for us. It's more for the NPCs who are in the pub as it's being attacked. I don't think any of us would be like, "Oh, let's go in the panic room."
Never say never.
Well, that's a good point. But like, it's for Bachard and Helga and Teog and whoever's there who wants to be safe during an attack.
In terms of
panic attacks,
in terms of how much money the pub makes, I've just put a table on the things. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a new tab down there. It just explains it. Because the way it works is it's not guaranteed to make the same amount of money each day. So basically you roll to see. So the pub itself has a cost of 5 gold per day, and this explains how much in equivalent to that. So typically speaking, you'll probably make at least its own cost, if not profit. And if it does make profit, the profit will easily cover the cost of a mercenary.
That's cool.
But you have to roll for it?
Yes.
Plus how many days?
The period of time going between it's I haven't read the full thing, but
okay.
It's a period of time. It's probably skimming through everything. So basically, what you do is this is like a downtime period. So basically, how long you spend running the business is that many days. Now, Burchard does that for you, so I just do it periodically.
That's super cool.
The point being is, as long as the pub makes profit, which it typically does, you can pay for the mercenaries out of the cost of the pub, and you can probably pay for maybe 1, definitely 2 at a push.
I wouldn't do 2.
So now because we got rid of the tunnels, we actually have 2 extra points to spend. We could because the mercenary is an ongoing cost. I don't know if it makes sense to get 1 for now and then add another 1 later because we don't really know how profitable the business is, right? So
exactly.
And realize we can't afford them. We then are in an awkward position. So we get 1 to start.
Yeah.
But then we still have 2 points to go on other stuff. So we could get the reinforced doors just because we can. And then 1 other thing. Or
I like the jail cells. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, of the stuff there, I think
nothing is a bad idea.
I think the alarm bell tower is probably useful.
I will say of your idea of the jail cells, someone in chat made a good point that if the safe is big enough, it can also act as a as a jail cell. So depending what you put in
just
there.
Combine one card that just says big metal room.
But it's airtight, right? So they would die.
No? I mean, it wouldn't be airtight because then it wouldn't work as a panic room.
No, but the safe. Sorry. Oh, you mean the panic room? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
You said the safe initially to have a really big safe. Just throw people in.
Well, yeah, we're saying it can act as both, but
I like that.
It depends what you put in there. If you are also storing magic items or whatever in there, then it's not going to work very well as a jail cell.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking that.
You made a really good point. If you have a jail cell and then we get secret tunnels, that's a bad recipe. Because if they can get to the secret tunnel entrance.
Great escape stuff right there.
Yeah.
How about we get a stone golem protector, but it's 2/7 the size of an actual one?
This tool.
Yeah, just like a tiny gargoyle that sits on the building and just throws himself down whenever he needs to.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, who's deleting things?
I just moved it down because we can't afford
Sorry,
to
I get it. It's fine.
All right.
You just get the 1 leg and 1 arm of a golem. Just combine them and just sort of hops around.
Sort of like the gargoyles and Hunchback of Notre Dame, like all upper body, no legs.
Yes.
Neat.
All right. What else?
I say of the stuff left, maybe alarm tower. I do like the idea of a fireman's pot, especially if it leads from the alarm tower all the way down to the safe room.
I mean, that's convenient, but someone said earlier that it's it's too conspicuous, the alarm tower. It's like
it is kind of weird.
It's kind of weird to have a pub with an alarm.
I mean, bear in mind, who is it conspicuous for? Because at the end of the day, it's just you are a pub in the middle of a town. Like, it's not like you're surrounded by enemies.
Yeah, but what pub has
that's
an
why
alarm
it's
tower?
conspicuous, right? Why do we need an alarm tower?
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess, like, what's the purpose of it? Is to alert the random, like, the citizens? I know they helped us the last time, but, like, I don't know.
And also us, right? If we if we're away and the pub gets attacked, currently they have no way of telling us.
I see the point. Yeah.
Just to add something to the fireman's pole thing, the was there an enormous hole in the floor/ceiling during the last thing, which ended up being
jumped through.
actually ended
some
up
floors.
being really useful in like the navigation through that. It was like, actually being able to get up and down without having to go up a set of stairs was pretty good.
Brask can always leap through the floor if we need.
If you do put the fireman's pole in that place, then it does mean there's a pole going right through Pebble's bedroom, which is amazing.
I don't know.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be there. I'll just say that's what the hole you're talking about, Will, is.
Yeah.
But now I'm also thinking, if we have points to spare, do we just get the reinforced doors? Because being able to lock them more is nice, but then it doesn't require us to barricade them if we need to reinforce them.
Because like, obviously reinforced doors, they're less useful when you're in your normal operating hours when people are coming in. But again, it does look like the back doors. But over night time, there'd be more reinforced. It also means that people couldn't like pick the lock and come in as easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is both a physical improvement to the doors, like you can't bash them down too easily, but also is an improvement to the locks themselves, like people can't pick the locks as easily.
Could we get like a ring doorbell so we can always see who's at the door?
like a we could put
like a little like a magic
scrying
eye on the knocker.
Yeah, if you have a permanent scrying object. Okay, so I brought the reinforced doors.
I like that one.
Like
you go up to the tower, you ring the bell, and then you fire yourself out the catapult.
Sorry for that. Cool. So, where are we?
I brought the reinforced doors back over because it sounds.
I think it's fine.
Basically, it seems like it's between the jail cells, the fireman's pole, and then the alarm bell.
I don't like the idea of having jail cells in particular.
Yeah,
it is.
I feel like Carly isn't really down with that person. How many people do you think we're gonna true.
Right. Because we had to.
We'll just kill them before we need to use it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we had the whole incident when we had a captive in the basement, and it's like I don't want that to set a precedent. Like, we're gonna torture people and like keep them captive and give them gruel.
And we can also use the panic room if we push. If we really need to for someone, like keep them unsafe or something, we could put them in the panic room. If we needed to. So, okay, let's get. Maybe if everyone's fine, we can get rid of the jail cell.
Yes, please.
Okay, so fireman's pole or alarm bell. To be fair, between the two of them, I'm kind of leaning towards the fireman's pole. Because quick navigation between floors would be helpful.
Yeah. Although you can only go down. I mean, well, with magic you can.
But like
you can climb up.
It's
fun. Just make sure no one's
Pebble.
Down.
You just got to get the upper body strength to just.
Sorry, Dad, I'm working on it.
Free climb up the slippery pole.
Cool.
Do we have? We've got a map of. Have we got a map of the layout of the pub?
Somewhere.
Yes. Hold on, let's dig it up for you. To have a poll run through it conveniently would require a reworking of it, but let me find out. I haven't removed that. Oh, that's still got kicking around.
It was at some point. It was in Roll20. I can switch to Roll20 if you want.
That's fine. I sometimes delete stuff on there, but I have not. So
good.
Let me just shift it back up.
Chad wouldn't mind it going through his room, because it's like his tactical advantage.
It can just go through the hallway. Like it doesn't need to go through.
But the thing is that if it's the hallway, it depends on, because it'd be good to have it relatively far away from staircases. So if we've got sort of like staircases that we can use, and then we also then have a
the map.
Holly is in the top room of the pub, and she doesn't want it to go.
Yeah.
Fair.
I just need to clean out all the fire that's still on the map.
Oh,
so I haven't touched it.
Sorry, I'm sure I was showing it too quickly. Then.
And can we have the fireman's pole be like motorized and spin?
What?
Some music on it too. That'll make the pub more profitable.
Yeah, can we have like a glitter ball?
Have karaoke
just had
in
a
this
thought
world.
about the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
When the pub was on fire, we needed help, and so if we had an alarm bell for when we need people to like come,
people did come
see
and
what's
help
going on.
eventually.
It's also things with the alarm bell. It's also things like you were attacked by a foreign agency, so you could call the guards and they would have helped you. Like, it's not like you were being attacked by the Justicars, or you weren't being attacked by the city. You were attacked by an outside agency. So in theory, you could call like the guards or someone to try help you, which means alarm bells might help for that.
But also, yeah, I guess if like we were in this, if it's loud enough, it can be heard across the city. It means that if a child rang it, if there was something going on, we would hear it. When we would be able to go, oh shit! All right, let's go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. As long as you were still in low bank, you'd pretty much hear it. I'd say if you start veering outside of low bank, like into other parts of the city, then you get a bit harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably as great as the fireman's pole is.
Is it the alarm bell tower that way?
The alarm bell, and this is the wonderful thing about this whole process is that you can make really good arguments for basically all of these.
Yeah.
This is nicely balanced.
That's why I thought it'd be quite a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
We're going back to this big red self-destruct button.
Yes.
Just a button and behind the counter. You just flip it up, just says launch.
Yes.
Just rig the place. And we'll get a separate pub just across the street. This is the decoy pub now.
If we fill the basement. Fill the basement for explosives. That'll launch the pub into the sky. Then they can't possibly get us.
Alright, roll a D100 to see if it works.
We're gonna spend 6 points on jet fuel and 1 point on parachutes.
Also, the alarm bell tower does double up as basically a watchtower, which is kind of also fun because Tali has stupid dark vision.
That's very true.
So it could be maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
down for that.
You know, and we can play All Along the Watchtower.
Also,
by Jimi
Tali,
Hendrix.
it's a watchtower and then climb on the roof and just sit on the roof. So good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that list. Really.
And then for the mercenary,
Mercenary have we decided on?
I was thinking number 2. But open to thoughts.
Yeah, I think number 2 is probably the better one.
Let me show it to the stream.
Because they're also covering a class that we don't really have not so much in our party, I guess.
Chad.
Yeah, but Chad's also got like funky like magic powers now, so there's no
magic.
And a myriad of personal defects.
Also.
Character flaws.
Like having a couple of warrior is not a bad thing. Like who can sort of be a bit tanky for us, especially because we don't have it doesn't mean that it's not all on Chad to be our tank.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa. We've got 2 tanks in this team.
Good point.
Okay, but then when you guys go off on your own,
Pebble is here, guys. He's right here.
Sure.
all right.
So I'm thinking number 2 is your candidate. Yes.
I don't know. Number 1 sounded fun, but yeah, probably number 2 is better.
I'm not sure about number 2 because I'm getting unhinged vibes.
I mean, what's new?
The thing I'll say for number 1 is, obviously you guys are somewhat a sanctuary for magic users in a city where magic's illegal, so you probably would have a lot of loyalty from someone like that.
Damn, that's true. Maybe.
And we can just
Maybe
stop.
it's that one.
And also the other part of that is magic being something frequent and illegal in this world means it's not something that people are as equipped to deal with. So if you have a magic user, they probably have a somewhat advantage in situations.
They
There's a lot of utility
are they
rules
are they a full caster or can they be like a half caster? Like can they be a bit more?
So the way the psychic works, they're a kind of, I mean they're a full caster I think, but they pick a skill which is essentially they pick like the arcane, divine or natural kind of paths. So I haven't figured that much out yet, since I just put on the table, but yeah. But we can basically argue, like, depending what you guys want, you can be more of a combat spellcaster or like be more of a utility spellcaster. So
Would having like a spellcaster just stand by the door all day also just attract unwanted attention of, hey, look at the magic guy?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I don't think they would. I wasn't expecting, Gandalf to be there, like wizard robes and a staff.
But also, they probably sit inside in the main bar place for most of the time. They can be pretty inconspicuous, right? Like we'll cope.
Like that guy in Harry Potter who's like reading A Brief History of Time and just stirring a drink.
Yeah.
Just someone sitting there the whole time reading a newspaper, basically.
Isn't that background character is supposedly like the most powerful wizard in the entire world?
Wondrous magic. He's crazy. He's crazy powerful. He's into physics.
And that's who you guys could have.
The chat is also strongly on the side of the klepto. So maybe
Kleptomagiac.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Maybe it's them.
Yeah. And we can figure out ways
of... It would be funny, even if it's a potentially less good option. So I'm into it.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. This is in character. We're not a min-max team. Like, come on, let's make things difficult for ourselves.
Able to summon a fireman's pole, because that would really sell it.
There is a spell which is quite low level, which is called magic rope. The rope trick, I think. What it does is you get a rope, it flies up into the sky full length, and then creates an interdimensional portal at the top of it. So you can climb up the rope, pull yourself into this portal, and you can basically hang out like a porthole in a completely invisible space, and you can pull the rope up into it and basically be completely invisible. So there's kind of is a fireman's pole spell.
And also, a spellcaster.
It's a low enough level spell that they could definitely have it if you want me to make that a thing.
Yeah. Could a spellcaster also serve as an alarm bell for alerting us?
Possibly.
Yes, there are spells. So, like for example, there is it's a bit of a dangerous one, but there's a spell called Shockwave. Or something like that, which basically is a damaging spell, but a part of it does mention that it can be heard from like 300 feet away or something like that.
It's also like sending. So
there's also sending.
Yeah, that's more what I was thinking.
I'm just putting all the options out there. But there's also things like precipitation, create like fireworks. They can fire like flares in the sky and stuff like that. So there's quite a few options you can get from a spellcaster as well, like that kind of thing.
I thought we said it wasn't Gandalf, Adam. Come on.
Yeah.
Giant firework dragon flies across Dow Bridge. Dragon, haven't been the dragon in these parts for 100 years.
Just like skywriting, but in firework form. Hey guys, maybe come back.
Please, dear small and mighty, please be advised.
Your attention, please.
It is with some concern that I notify you.
For the eyes of small and mighty only.
Yeah. Please disregard if you are not one of the following individuals. Chadron Atheist of 13 the Third.
Like 6 point type. What was it?
All the chaotic possibilities of the spellcaster have definitely sold me on that choice.
Yeah.
I think we're done. We did it. Done.
We did it.
Boom, shakalaka.
Cool.
I
didn't want to do that. That's fine.
Can we disguise? I mean, this is meta already. The watchtower, right? Disguise it as like a big beer or mead totem. It's like, come get your beer, but then we can climb up and go.
Neon sign.
Yeah.
It's like a giant swirling pint of beer.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like giant donut, but beer themed.
With the prestidigitation cantrip, you can create like things on walls. So you could have your mage spend all their time sat on the roof where they're not busy casting a spell like every 10 minutes to make a glowing sign that says beer.
Like
a lava lamp.
Is there a way of making money where people can hire out space to advertise on our watchtower?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yes!
Then we can pay the bursary!
Like a jumbotron at like a basketball game and get people like proposing on there and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, what you could do, also, you know how like old buildings had like painted signs on them? Essentially, you could have the mage using prestidigitation to create a painted sign and just swap it out like every couple of days for a new business. So, yeah, you could definitely find
in partnership with.
Yeah.
Small and Mighty, brought to you by NordVPN.
So much for flying under the radar, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a big distraction because they'll be like, "Ooh, fancy sign," and then we'll just be secretly doing all the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're happy with those options. So panic room / a safe in the cellar, an alarm bow / watchtower, a new water well in the yard, reinforce / improve windows, reinforce doors, and hiring a mercenary.
And the mercenary, just for the benefit of the chat, the mercenary is this.
Yes.
Great.
The only one I'll give you just a question on, just to make sure you're happy with it. The water well in the yard, obviously, would be very useful if another fire starts in your pub. But if your pub never gets caught on fire again.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was going to ask, is
just
it
a nice feature?
Can we,
it's just a nice feature.
Position it in a way that it's sort of closest to the watchtower, so if we ever wanted to, we could sort of Assassin's Creed dive into it.
That would be very tasteful.
Not if you wanted to have a bucket tower thing built into it.
Oh, I've got another.
Take minimal damage, it'd be fine.
Another enterprise idea. We encourage people to put wishes in the well, and then we take their coins.
Yes, and then
But you go to take the coins, but you find out that somehow they've already disappeared, and then the mate just walking around like.
It's turning out Christina's a real capitalist. I didn't realise.
I mean, her parents are in business.
That's true.
Yeah.
She's got that kind of brain on her.
But even if we don't have to use it for a fire, it does mean we have a source of water that we can actually use. We don't have any running water, right? Like we don't. That's not a thing. Like plumbing.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we don't have plumbing, so like now we have water. This is good. We can use it for like having a shower or whatever. Like just
could provide water to
turn the book up and down
to build loyalty.
Yes. Just wanted to double check you were cool with that. So cool. All right. If there's no complaints, I'm going to lock in those choices.
Yay!
And I will figure out how to get added into the pub. There might be some roleplay stuff that actually happens with some of this because it's only been a day. Like, the digger well will take a couple of days or at least a week or something like that. So there'll be some sort of process going through these. But
can I just check for like the panic room / safe in the cellar? Is the safe not in the panic room, or is the panic room the safe? Like, is the whole panic room a giant safe?
Panic room and safe.
But is the safe in the panic?
So what I understood with the implication was it's a panic room, but you could also just leave your valuables in there.
So it is a safe as a room. It's got a giant safe door on it.
Like a sort of big bank vault that you can also climb inside.
Yeah.
Has
anyone seen John Wick 3?
No.
Yes. No. Yeah, I imagine that there's a big room like that in there. That's what I'm picturing as.
As long as it's quick to get into.
Yeah, we can talk about specifics of what these are later. Like, we don't have to discuss that right now because but yeah, it's fine. It can either be the whole thing's a safe, or it can be a safe within a panic room. Either or is fine. Either way, we'll lock in these choices. That's fine. And your spellcaster elf, who I will create an actual character for that at some point in the future. But cool. Ian, obviously. Ian.
To work Ian into the name somehow.
Spellcaster Ian. Cool. Yeah. Ian the Wise.
No, actually, it couldn't be Ianus, could it? Because that's got other
Ianaceus or something like that.
Ianaceus,
but cool. All right. Thank you very much for that. So I'll get this sorted out. I think that's probably a good place to take our little break, and then we'll come back and get back properly into the downtime activities for the rest of the session.
Yes.
Cool. Lovely.
Cool. So.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
25?
25. Okay. Bye. See you in 10 minutes.
Bye.
Bye.
And we're back.
Wow.
So, this time we'll actually jump back into character stuff. So, obviously you guys are in the various places around Moorgrave Manor, and but like I said, we're going to do transition to like a downtime section. So we don't have to pick up directly where you are, but we'll I'll go around the group and sort of see what people want to do, and I'll go from on my screen what is top left, which is Ryan. So Brusk, is there anything you want to achieve in the next sort of day and a half? Bear in mind that obviously you can't go out to the Brid more because you have to be here in a few days' time, obviously. But the thing you want to achieve, and it's obviously fine if you don't. If you do, now's your chance.
I think, like all the stuff we were just talking about with improving the 5 fellows. I think Brask would want to help with that, but obviously that's not super doable right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'd pretty much just default Brask stuff of eat, sleep, fight anyone who wants to fight.
Okay.
Repeat. Like that's his day to day. Whenever he
unless anyone comes and gets you, you're more or less. Are you staying at the manor, or are you intending to go back to the pub?
Oh, we can go back to the pub. Okay, sorry. I thought
you can obviously leave.
To be fair, if Brass wants to go between the two places, Tali probably will need that troll's blood, right? So if Brass is gonna be going back and forth, could he bring it? Could he go and get it? And
yeah, in that case, Brass will go back and sort of oversee the improvements.
Okay. So one thing that happens when you are making your way out, as you are leaving the manor, you hear the voice of the steward speak. I was like, before you leave Brask, you do need to sign out of the guest book, please.
Brask will kind of turn and look at the book and go, yeah, and like he's seen people write, he just doesn't know how to do it. So he'll hold up the quill, but it'll be sort of like in a fist.
Yeah.
Just sort of just scroll like an infant.
Yeah. Okay.
All over the one whole page of the book.
Brask. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not even that. Probably just.
It's like a squiggle.
It looks like, you know, those when people get the signature down to the point where it is basically a squiggle. It looks like that, but that isn't what you're going for.
Yeah, it's so chaotic it almost loops back around to being cursive.
Yeah.
Which just makes it much more identifiable. Like it's absolutely Brask's signature.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fun because he didn't sign in.
You did all sign in, yes.
We signed in as one, right?
Tali signed everybody in.
Tali signed you all in.
Right.
I imagine the quill probably even goes through the page as well. Because he presses down too hard.
As you sort of tear through the top page and actually draw on the second page, you hear this sort of like, yes, good, will do, I'm sure. Just, and the other important matter of it is, as you were leaving, it is of vital importance that you tell no one about this place. No one must know this place exists.
Brask squares.
Very good. And of course, if you do, I'm sure you'll be quite understanding in the fact that you will be barred from this place forever. So, tell no one.
Brask doesn't know what barred means, but he just goes, okay, sure.
Very well then. I hope you have an enjoyable day, Brask, and we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
You too, statue.
Great.
Brask still hasn't really got small talk down.
Yeah.
Trying. But we love it.
You turn, you walk, you open the big sort of doors, and you head back into what is again the sort of beautiful gardens outside, and you start strolling your way out back into the town and towards the Five Fellows. Somewhere else in the mansion, one of these busts of the steward speaks up near you, Tali. It's like, just sorry to interrupt, Atalia. I just thought to let you know that your companion Brask has left the vicinity, which he's of course welcome to do. It's very important that he tells no one about this place existing, and I just want to make sure you're aware of that, because I'm not confident he understood what I meant.
And he's already left, right? So I can't.
He's gone now.
It's
yes.
too late to actually.
You could potentially catch him. I have no ability to stop him leaving.
No, but maybe you could have told me while he was standing out. No matter. If I go out and then just go out, come back in. How long from wherever I am in the place now? How long will it get? Can I catch him before he gets too far?
You can try and catch him, yeah. As you run into the lobby, though, you do hear this just like, but do sign out before you leave.
Okay, yes, I will do that.
So you are waylaid for a moment to sign out the book. You quickly write. You have to kind of turn to the next 2 pages because Brass has ruined one and then taken up all of the other.
I'll be back in like 5 minutes. But...
Yes, very good. So you run out the door, and yes, you use your perception. You are able to catch Brask.
Brask is like walking along with his boomerang, just like flipping it in his hand. Like, he's having a great day. He's just like whistling.
Brask! Wait up!
Hey!
Humming, sing a little song to yourself about magical mansions and.
He's gonna catch up with him. Like, are you off to go back? Pub?
I'm going to fix the pub, so we'll all be safe.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. I had a couple. Actually, could I? We need some troll's blood, and I think we have some in the basement of the pub. Where the bucket that the arms were in, the troll arms. So we have.
Yes.
Pretty sure we got some blood. If you could take a vial, and then put it like a bottle. And get as much as you.
Bottle, yes.
Do you have one? Do I have one?
I mean, Brass, you know the pub is filled with bottles. Yeah.
Okay, but get one that's got nothing in it, right? It's empty, and if you could just fill up.
Empty bottle. I will drink bottles to empty the bottles, then fill the bottles with the arms.
Yeah. If you could maybe rinse it out. Yeah, that'd be great. That would be wonderful.
In bottle. Okay.
No, the blood from the arm.
Right. Yeah.
But it's very important that it's the blood. They just need the blood from.
Okay.
There should be some in the bucket that we've been keeping. I'm pretty sure we drained one. We let all the blood run into a bucket.
Blood fall out of arms where arms get cut off. Yes.
Yes, and then you put that in the bottle. Great. And also while
take
you're
out beer first.
Yeah. Okay. But then.
Delicious.
Yes. That's good.
Blood also delicious, but not good. Don't drink.
Yes. Okay. Could you also check on Bachard for just to make sure he's okay and that we've just sort of disappeared. Had just been kidnapped. So just see if he's okay and if he needs. I think that would be good.
I'll give him a hug.
Yeah, if he wants one, you have to ask him first. Can't just hug him.
Okay.
Okay.
Also,
yes.
Brask's doorbell has gone. Brask will be back in 1 moment.
Yeah.
Great.
Didn't get that last bit.
Yeah, right. You say that again, please.
Yeah. Ryan.
Not quite following what you mean. Dorian?
1 second. Let me switch to his close-up, just to make it more intense. Right. Where are you? Sorry. Anyway. Good.
Yeah. But Tally, just to kind of fast forward through what you're talking about, are you going to tell him not to tell anyone about the place?
Yeah, but she's specifically going to explain to him, like, you can't tell anyone about this place, and if you do tell anybody,
There we go.
So Sally is essentially going to say, like, yes, that's great. But also, I'm sure the statue mentioned that you can't, don't say anything at all to anybody, not even Bachard.
Brask has not spoken to statue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. But just to make sure we're clear, if you do tell anybody, you will never be allowed back inside the building. So it's really important that you. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, but you do understand. Yeah. Okay, but you understand that if you break those rules, you can never ever go back in there.
In where?
Yeah. Okay. I guess you're doing a great job, but I just want to make sure you understand the consequences. But it sounds like you do.
Brask is gonna nod, and then sort of look around and be like,
I don't think you should be talking about that building. You will get bad.
Oh.
All right. Yes, you're right. You're right, bro.
Great.
I'll leave you. I'll leave you to it then, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, 1 bottle of arms coming up.
No, the blood. The blood from the arms.
That's what I said.
Russ runs off down the street.
I'm going on an adventure.
And you return back to the mansion,
A worried look as he runs away. Okay.
As you return in, they're like, "Oh, welcome back, Talia, and please do sign back in."
You can just call me Tali.
Wonderful, Tali. Please do sign back in.
She's writing it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Ross, you're going to sort of run back and forth between the mansion and the manor. You are also asked again to sign back in, but you can hear this sort of strained voice. It's like, "Please sign back in gently this time," which you can or cannot. But yeah, you run back and forth, and then you start to you see that Burchard is undertaking, like, he's talking to some contractors and stuff like that to kind of reinforce the place beyond. Like, he already had some people in repairing the place. He actually had some people repairing the place before they got attacked, because they were doing it the floor in Pebble's room. So he just basically gives them more money and starts specifying like additional improvements to make with the place. So you can see that is ongoing, and you are able to support in that as well. But you come back, you deliver the bottle. How do you function the bottle?
Well, this is what I was going to say. Can I like maybe roll to see to what degree I understood the instruction?
Yes, maybe intelligence check.
Okay. Where am I? Intelligence is up here. Oh, -1. This is going to be fun.
Here we go, guys.
There's a reason why Brass is like he is.
I got a 10.
10's a pretty average understanding.
I probably bought a whole
time.
arm, but still with blood in it.
Oh,
Sure. Yeah,
And
10 is you
an empty bottle as well.
Yeah, 10. You fully understood the instructions, but it's up to you how you interpret how to respond to this. You come back with an empty bottle and the arm.
I think I probably tried to like pour the blood from the arm into the bottle, and then it a bit missed, and I was like, I'll just take this and like use the arm as the bottle almost. So I just walked through town carrying an arm. Yeah,
so that leads me to my next thing. Please roll me a stealth check. I'm going to see how much attention you draw by bringing an arm through town.
25. Easy peasy.
Oh, damn.
Everyone's just too distracted by my big smile.
Yes.
Big jolly green giant.
Yeah, you see some back alleyways and you kind of scut through town, but yeah, somehow you seem to get through. It's not that you're not noticed, it's just, as always, you draw attention, but that distracts from the actual arm you're carrying. So, yeah, you make it back. Tali, you've been given an empty bottle and a troll's arm.
Okay, but can I put the blood in the bottle as we were intending?
Yeah, you can work that. That's fine.
Careful, it's messy.
Gable helps you do it with some various.
But we get a funnel. We have a funnel. We can just.
Yeah, exactly. So you are able to achieve that. Cool. So that's Brass. That's what you're doing for the sort of foreseeable future. Moving on, the next person on my screen, which is Chad.
Oh, Chad would also want to just pop back to the pub. Or would he? I would like to go and do something with the dead bodies that were just been left behind.
Yes.
And just kind of do that. But also, I'm sure that Chad would probably. We put them in the alleyway, I think.
You got Burchard and Teal to do something with them, so the bodies are effectively gone. There's not a problem.
Oh,
They've
in
been
that
handled.
case.
Yeah.
In that case, Chad's hanging out with Baron.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I think there was something that I think you told me at one point you wanted to look into, which was to do with the memory you obviously had, which was the marriage proposal and how that affects things.
Yes.
I think you potentially wanted to write a letter or something, didn't you?
Did I want to write a letter?
I thought that's what you said to me.
Oh, the marriage. No, wait, which marriage proposal?
When he had his dream, and then he was going to get married to the daughter of some other person.
Yeah.
And then,
I might have assumed letter actually, Will, but I think you were being the fact that you've recently learned that your father obviously is part of the Messes, you're considering looking into taking up that opportunity to marry in as a steward of.
Oh my God, you've got such a better memory than I have of things I want to do. Yes.
I
no,
just skimmed
absolutely.
through the message you sent me, which is on.
Yeah. No, when did I send you that message? Hang on.
A couple of weeks back.
Just going to remind myself.
14th of August. So,
14th of August.
2 weeks ago.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said, what are your thoughts on downtime for Small and Mighty? Because I want to do downtime, basically. I was like, cool, we'll do some downtime.
Yep, no.
That might be the entire reason we're doing downtime right now, by the way, guys. It's because Will said, I'd like to do some downtime.
I forgot what I wanted to do.
Great. I have like 5 things I want to do.
This was literally all for you, Will. You're not even...
I'm not even paying attention.
It's all right.
Right, yes. So, I wanted to... It was Augustria, wasn't it?
Yes.
We
can come back to you if you want a moment to think about what you're...
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that's... I'm very, very grateful that you reminded me of this entire thing that I wanted to do. Okay, good. Thank you.
It's a good thing we came to you early so I can kind of prep you, tee you up for the come back to you. So we'll jump across. Next on my screen then is Verity. Christine, sorry.
Oh.
Anything you would like to do in these day and a half?
Keep reading. Keep practicing some bits and pieces. Like, oh, so many books.
Yeah, okay. Do you, because your grandmother is still around, like, do you want to talk to her at all? You obviously spoke to your great aunt about your grandmother last time you played.
Yes. But yeah, I think just before we leave, I'll probably just be like...
Yeah. Just also for my sakes, like, obviously, Christine, you've been having a bit of a crisis of like purpose, I guess. Like, you don't know if you want to go hunt for these relics or not, and things like that. Like, where's Christina's mind at the moment?
I think it's a tricky one because it's like she didn't ask for any of this to happen to her, and now she's like doesn't want to feel obligated to save the world. Like has always had like a carefree, like nihilistic attitude to the world, and now it's very much like can't be that way in this situation because it's like up to you and your friends to fix things now. So that's where Christina's at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
I think it'll need like the rest of the party to weigh in to like hit her in a way, because if it's like if she sees her friends being like feeling like this is really important, then that'll probably be her towards that.
Yeah, okay. So do you approach any of your companions to discuss at any point, or are you kind of like intentionally distancing yourself from this in the hopes that it kind of blows away and isn't a problem?
Away by ignore it.
Yeah, I think that's what Christina would do.
Okay, so if you're ignoring it, that's fine. So in this case, I'll do this instead. I'll say, realistically, I think the people who will be around you, especially if you're spending time in the library, is going to be Pebble and Tarly. So I'll have Pebble and Tarly roll me insight checks.
Inducing?
Because basically, if, here's the promise of go and try and save the world, and you spend the whole time buried in books, kind of shut away in the library, that might trigger some warning signs in your companions.
I rolled a 7, but I rolled a natural 1.
Oh, wow! Okay, 13.
Come on, Pebble, all on you. 13. I think 13 is probably enough to kind of recognise that something's going on with Christine. Like, everyone else has kind of got this kind of call to arms a little bit. You've got, improving the pub. Tarly's trying to obviously work on a cure for Bachard. And you, Pebble, see that Christine has just kind of been just buried in books. And like also, that her grandmother is here in the house and she's intentionally not spending time with her grandmother. So you pick up on these kind of feelings. If there's anything you want to do with
that. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I mean, since Christina and Pebble were in the library and they both want to learn magic. Pebble, would make that extra effort to like spend a little bit more time without being annoying. He doesn't wanna. It's like I mean, and I assume Pebbles never gonna ask Christine, like, is everything all right?
Yeah, okay. So you're not pressuring it, not trying to get an answer out of her.
Like, wouldn't you like to? Yeah, I mean, I heard there's like a room downstairs if you wanna, practice magic or whatever. You don't have to like in the library all day. But like nicely. I mean, let's just say Unai is less nice than Pebble is.
Yeah. Look at it. Yeah, so you can also, offer like, do you want to go and try any of this practical stuff? Do you want to go down to the battle room downstairs and?
Yeah, we have to be prepared, and it would be good to have some practice. And I don't know, I want to control. I'm gonna relate to myself as well. Like I want to control the stuff that happens when I get nervous as well, and it'll be good to, just have like a classmate, if it makes any sense.
Christina is gonna say no, but go and talk to Tali instead.
Okay. So maybe, with Pebble hanging around you, it kind of makes you conscious that you obviously are part of the group and, everything like that, but Tali does kind of stand as like the big sister of the group. Maybe like Pebble isn't maybe the right person to speak to. So yeah, you come and find Tali. You probably find her maybe running between the alchemist lab and the library or something like that. So, but yeah, you run into Tali in one of the hallways.
Hi, Tali.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to find out more about this disease thing that Bachard has, right? And see if we can do something with the alchemists. The stuff we found in Sprint's office, his alchemy like notes and everything. We can try and make some sort of cure for it. But also, there's a huge library with all of this knowledge, magical knowledge that is not available to everyone. So I'm gonna go see what Tali can find.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
This place is pretty special.
Yeah. I think I'm glad we came.
Good.
But, there's a lot you want to get done, right?
Yeah. As always.
Tina is struggling to know how to open up. She's not.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is something wrong? You seem troubled. I know it's been a bit difficult coming here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of pressure to go save the world. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I don't know, do you know what might happen, what your philosophy? No, I don't say that. I'm... Is the world worth saving?
There's a big question. I mean, I assume you want the world to be safe, right? You want to continue to live in the world. Is it more a question of, do you feel like it's not your responsibility?
It seems like an awful lot of pressure, considering I only learnt magic last week.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you only learn how to express your magic last. But I totally believe every people who end up being able to perform magic have magic, capability in them for a long time. So,
do you think this is the right way to use it?
I mean, the way Tali sees it is not everybody knows that the world's in danger. Most people are living their lives unaware, ignorant, and that's great for them. But we've found out that there's a threat, a threat bigger than anything we've ever faced before. And yeah, maybe there are better equipped people to do this, but we're the ones who found out about it. So if we then decline to take action, we're dooming everyone. And to Tali, that doesn't feel right. It is a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility, but we don't always get to choose what our responsibilities are in life. We don't always want them, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do them.
Okay.
I mean, think about your family, right? All of your loved ones. You want them to continue to have a happy, healthy life. Live, be unaware, and sometimes for that to happen, you have to have the burden of knowledge, action.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Charlie. To quickly walk away.
You're welcome. I mean, I do have a bit of a weird perspective because of being a godling, but it's fine. Yep.
You're walking away. Okay.
In service to other people. Okay.
I've had an idea. Christina's had an idea.
And I can help.
Right. I need to pick the right check. Maybe a history check. I'm gonna see. Sort of like flick through sort of my Rolodex of magical people I know from home.
Okay. What to what extent? Like, what are you trying to achieve from this?
So Tali's brought up this idea of like we're the ones who know about it, even if we're not the best suited. I'm like,
who can I tell?
Yeah. Like who can I like possibly like send a message to find the corridor and like get their help? Be like,
So yes, a run me a history check. But then I'm going to need a bit more information from you about what kind of person you're informing. Let's start with the history check.
Okay, so I've got 22.
22, fine. You can think a whole bunch of people that you could message. So I kind of need you to kind of inform me a little bit more, like what kind of person. Are you looking for like an authority figure, like essentially a cop, but like, or are you looking for, is there some sort of like your nation, Kostrand, there was a civil war there for a while, and that split the nation into like this non-magical and magical people. Obviously, you're from the magical part. Like, are you looking for like a friend, or like almost like a friend of your family's who like maybe was a war general or something like that? Someone who has seen action and has tackled it head on. Or are you looking for like a scholar, like someone who maybe can research more into this or that, or
Yeah, so I think the
someone who runs a news agency, like a newspaper, like what kind of, who are you looking to inform?
Yeah. So Christina's very averse to like authority figures specifically, but I imagine in South Kostrand there would have been like hippies, like scholarly hippies who are like sort of doing more experimental magical research. A bit more spiritual.
Yeah, no. So funnily enough, I've been kind of fleshing out Kostrand for a game we're going to run off stream at some point. And a big thing I've recently decided about South Kostrand is that they worship a tree. So it is a very hippie, like it's almost imagine like paganistic rituals were mainstream religion. It's basically what's going on there right now. So 100%, there is a bunch of like scholarly hippie types that you could reach out to.
Yeah, like. Imagine there would have been a local religious institution to me.
Yep.
Run by like trying to like avoid the Christian like imagery.
So it'd be a druid most likely. A druid would run it.
So like there would be the local druids. Like I don't suppose Christina would have had much of a relationship with them. Like how like in this world, like if you're at a secular school, you still like engage with your local church and stuff, so it's that similar to that. I'm thinking. Yeah,
it's probably something like you when you were younger. You probably occasionally spent time at the the temples and things like that. But as you grew older and got more independent, you sort of pushed off and decided you didn't want to do that anymore. But there's a very good chance that the druid would still recognize you, even if you haven't spoken to him for like 10+ years.
Yeah. Okay, so I need to summon a creador. This task. I don't know how I do that. I might just shout. Alright!
Roll me a charisma check.
Charisma check, okay.
Just a flat charisma check.
20.
20.
Natural.
Wow.
You shout that. Where would you be standing when you shout out, Dory?
I'm imagining I'm walking down a long hallway.
Okay.
Like marching away from
Yeah, so you're walking down this hallway, and like this one's got like paintings down there of just various kind of like locations around the world, and you just hear this kind of shrill screech from somewhere like on the other side of like the floor. It's like That's not my name! And you just hear the flapping of wings as this bird just starts tearing through hallways down towards you. And just hear it come around the corner like, what do you want?
No need to shout. Come on.
You started this.
No need to get defensive. Anyway, I need to send a message.
Okay, and what do you want me to do about that?
Help me send a message.
There's a moment where it's like,
you owe me. You put my friend's arm in danger.
fine. What is the message and who is the recipient?
That's for me to know. I just need you to give me the means.
Roll me just roll me a persuasion check real quick.
Persuasion check.
Yeah.
Ding. 14.
14. Let me roll. That's a super high roll. Let me just see how generous your creator is feeling right now. Difficult as always.
Oh.
Creator looks at like. I mean, I can convey a message for you if you are interested. I am a bird. What is the message and who is it going to?
It's going to... I'm going to see what spells I've got that might be useful.
While you do that, let me make a name up for this druid.
Yeah.
So we can actually lock him into the world. Actually, no, what I want.
So we'll say if all else methods fail, Tali does have access to the sending.
Yeah. Oh, can I put a name into the ring?
Go for it.
Noel.
Noel?
Yeah, like Noel.
Ah, okay.
On the Christmas theme.
Hey.
Oh, amazing. Sure.
Yeah.
Noel Yule. That's
Yeah.
the surname.
No, I'll take Noel. Why not? So, okay. Yes, okay. So, yes, you have this druid called Noel. Yes, the creator sort of sits there expectantly. Yes, I have a means of traveling vast distances very quickly.
Well, that's handy, isn't it?
Indeed. Though I cannot carry any physical objects, I would have to physically know what message you wish to send and speak it to them. They're not going to be freaked out by a talking raven, are they?
Nah.
Oh,
Noel's chill. Noel's a chill person.
I hope so, for my sakes.
Right.
What is the message? It's fine if you, Verity, don't know quite what the message is going to be yet, but if you want to give me the vague idea of what you're going to want to convey.
Yeah. I'm going to be like, help a sister out, Noel. She's stuck in a place with no magic, but world is ending. Is this all rubbish or no?
Yeah, okay, so you basically...
Don't tell them about the manor, though, because you get kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course
That's fine.
not.
But basically your gist is you want to... Almost like a second opinion is what you're going for, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been to the doctor, you don't like what you've heard, you're like, I'm going to get a second opinion. So yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's more than fair. Because also, it kind of works in favour of, like, what Madame Morgrave was talking about. She showed you scriptures that are written kind of by the Abbey, which is obviously the world's majority prominent religion. But your people don't worship the Abbey, don't follow the Abbey. You follow this paganistic belief, which is you worship what's called Eos, the Knowing One, which is this giant tree, which apparently stores all knowledge. So, no, it is a very good idea to go speak to one of the druids of Eos, the Knowing One. Again, second opinion. So you said to a creator, and the creator's like, right, I will go and find this Noel, and I will report back once I have done so.
Thank you. I'll
Flies
give
off.
you some worms later.
Berries would be preferable. Just flies off.
Oh.
Get what you given.
He's vegetarian.
Even from a distance, you kind of hear like, "Do you want this message delivered or not?"
I love Ricardo. Pebble hates him, but Oneida loves him. I love chaos.
You hear the wings flap down the hallway, and then they kind of suddenly stop as you imagine he turns back into a statue somewhere. Yeah, you have sent a message out to Noel.
Cool.
I will keep a note of that, and I will come back to you with some information on that probably next session.
Okay.
Cool. We'll jump back to Will. Have you had any thoughts what you want to do?
The muted Will.
You will be muted.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen at least once per session. Do you want to come back to me again? Because I am writing. I am writing the letter.
Excellent.
Great.
Then yes, I will 100% come back to you.
Yes.
Is that why I hear like thudding keys?
Furious typing.
Adam's typing.
That Adam. Yeah.
That's me writing down the fact that you've sent a message to Noel. So I've got to find out. Okay, cool. In which case we'll jump down to Pebble.
Hey.
What do you want to do?
So Pebble has like a few things. Like, firstly, he wants to give. Like, Pebble is always in this mindset of like serving and giving and all that. He's excited because this palace really must have like really good, a really good kitchen. So he wants to go to the butler and say, "Hey, can I? Well, I mean, sorry, excuse me, but can I like help in the kitchen? I would really love to, and I would really love to, learn to cook." And he will do that on the meal times.
Sure.
We can work on that now, or we can.
Yeah, that's fine. So you go and you speak to Steward, one of the various Steward statues around. It's like
Steward.
That's fine. Same sort of thing. And you can of course go to the kitchen. Did you want to help? I'm not sure if more help is required, but
I would love to learn to cook better, and I think I can. Yeah.
Yeah, thoughts, yeah. And he gives you directions, and basically says on the ground floor, if you head this way, kind of basically near the big dining room where you had breakfast, there is a room to the side of that, which is the kitchens, which you head into, and you see a kitchen that is double the size of the one at the Five Fellows.
Great.
Way more stocked and way more, the upkeep is brilliant here. But notably, you don't see anyone inside the kitchen. What you instead see is a bunch of kitchen utensils floating by themselves.
Oh.
You see like knives go just along board. You see like a soup spoon swirling inside a pot of soup as you see what's clearly a magically run kitchen.
Okay. In that case, in the middle of a kitchen, I'm gonna just shout, "Is there anything I can help with? I'd really like to cook."
Make me a persuasion check.
All the knives turned pointing.
Like, persuasion. All right. Persuasion check.
Yes, please.
Natural 20. Jesus. 26.
You watch as every utensil in the kitchen just suddenly stops.
Great.
And all the utensils like knives and stuff point towards you suddenly.
Okay, I don't mean that in a menacing way.
While you're sort of like backing to the door, you feel something get pulled over your head, and suddenly an apron is pulled down around you and like wrapped around you. The apron itself pulls you along the kitchen, drags you to like a counter. Yep. You arrive at a counter where there is basically a sack of potatoes, and a knife comes and goes dong, lands in front of you.
Thank you. I can do more than peeling potatoes.
You watch as every utensil of the kitchen goes back to doing what it was, as you have now been set to peel potatoes.
This is not what I had in mind, but yeah, fine.
So, what we're going to do now? So you managed to win over a position in this magical kitchen,
right? But I want to have a life alongside the kitchen life.
Well, so what we're going to do now is we're going to basically see if you impress these magical utensils. So I need you to roll me
seduction.
What's this going to be? So it's going to be because you are. No, not quite. You are proficient in cook's tools, so I'm gonna ask here for a performance check. I think.
Good. Yeah, sounds.
I would like you to run me a performance check. Are you proficient in performance?
No. Well, +3.
Does it have a little dot next to it?
Has he got a dot next to it?
No, not the advantage thing.
No, okay.
No, I'm proficient in perception, not in performance.
That's fine. So that's fine. But because you are proficient in your cook's tools, we'll use that proficiency instead, which makes sense. So this is going to be a charisma check plus your proficiency.
Wait, charisma check plus my proficiency. All right.
Yes.
Charisma check
So basically,
is the +3 plus my proficiency. All right. So.
Because we're basically gonna see how well you perform in this kitchen.
It's a 13 plus 3 to 16.
16, and you do perform. Yeah, you do perform well. Right. So you over the period of time, like you're not like locked in this kitchen, but you do manage to kind of go up the ranks a little bit in this kitchen. They start you peeling potatoes, but then they kind of impressed with how quickly you do that. So next they have you kind of like stirring the soup, and then it's like, like stuffing some chicken, and it basically you go up and up, and like you just basically work your way through this magical kitchen, doing more and more complex tasks,
like stuffing the soup or stirring the chicken.
Yes, 100%. Wait a sec. No. But yeah, you basically get a full like tour of the kitchen, doing like all the stations. You start learning how to be like a line cook in like a busy kitchen that's gotta go and other things. So yeah, you have a successful time in this thriving busy kitchen. I will just, for the time you spend with these people, roll me an Arcana check. Ooh, so you can learn anything about what's actually happening in this this kitchen.
18. I'm proficient.
Mm-hmm. So 18. The more time you spend in here, the more you become aware that it is not a case of like these utensils themselves are not animate. They're not like living knives and living soup spoons. You actually start to realize more and more that there are maybe the ghosts. You're not sure, but there seems to be beings in this kitchen who are using these utensils. You occasionally start to see like almost like the vague like outlines of like humanoid shapes. Don't think you have this, Pebble, but you have access to this. It's a spell called Invisible Servant, and you basically learn that these are invisible servants.
Oh yeah. Like Mage Hand version 2, yeah.
There's Mage Hand, but there actually is a spell called Invisible Servant.
Sorry, yes, I should have known because my other character from the other campaign has it.
Yes, you did. Yes, I remember now. Absolutely. So you basically come to realize that these are probably invisible servants that are like permanent ones, but they are probably created by Madame Morgrave herself.
That's cool. How many? Oh my god! So she can create like a lot.
You get the feeling that there is. There's about 4 in this room.
Jeez.
Who are working together. So
Madame Morgrave is like concentrating on this because it's a concentration spell.
Yeah, it does make you kind of think that she must have a kind of level of like mastery over magic that she has 4 permanent servants working the kitchens, and she's off doing other things in the house. Like this is the level of magic. Like obviously you aren't incredibly studied in magic, but you know what she's achieving is a high level of magic, and you've not seen anything like that before. So you know you're in the right place is basically what you kind of get from that.
Yes. And this is such a good segue to me trying to find Madame Morgrave and ask her about my just recovering at will or transforming into my human form again, just to not raise any suspicion and all that.
So okay. So you at one point during all this, you go and head towards her office, which is off of the library.
With the violin.
Yes, as you approach, you hear the violin sounds coming from within, and you knock on the door. After a moment, you hear her go, "Come in." And as you make your way into the study, you hear again that violin disappears. Hey, Cat, why do we have to have keyboard time now?
What? One second. This needs a close-up. We have a kitten!
I want to Lula.
I mean, it's not.
No. She gone. All right. Oh, no, we do have a kitten. Oh, for a brief moment. Alright. Anyway. We have to do like a kitten alert and have like gifts like go like meow meow. For you and for Ryan and to Sarah.
Adam, you're now muted.
Yes, you are.
I think the cat has somehow muted him.
No.
It's constant. Yeah, like so. It's like always green, like on Discord, but we can't hear.
1 sec. Yeah. Do the little disconnect.
Oh, DM's gone, right, guy?
Ooh, now we can plot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Quick, let's overthrow everything.
No, change the audio device and can we?
Oh, check Discord, check Windows, like Windows device settings, Discord device settings.
Check Windows, check Mac OS, check Linux, check FreeBSD.
Like control, like what's the Windows like shortcut?
Control panel.
Is it control? No, is it like Control M? Like, is there like a?
I don't remember.
Shall we, while we fix this?
If you do Windows Alt and K.
I don't know what that means.
At the same time.
Say something now, Adam?
No, it's weird because you're like constantly green even though you're always talking.
We are gonna go to a tiny break. Just to not bore the chat and for everyone to know what's happening.
Oh wait, Control Shift and M.
We'll be back. I'm sure we'll be back soon. Right. Cool.
Hello again. I can now talk again.
Yes.
Like the cat stole my voice.
And in any case,
what the hell were we talking about?
Yes, Madame Mulgrave.
Madame Mulgrave. Yes, you enter into her room. So yes, you hear the violin sound disappear, and then when you close it, you hear it now coming from the room behind you again. That sort of privacy shield that's built into the door itself.
Oh, but this I didn't know, so I would be like, oh.
Yeah, you haven't. Pebble hasn't experienced it yet, so yeah, you find out that she's not playing violin. It is in fact a privacy spell cast into the door. So once again, Pebble, another form of powerful magic that you haven't even seen before at work. But she does look up from her desk and go, "Good afternoon, Pebble. What is it I can do to help you today?"
Hi, Miss Madam Mulgrave.
Madam Mulgrave.
Sorry. I was wondering, so I've been trying to research in the library behind there about what might have, broken a spell that was on me and how to regain it. Because I used to have like human shape, and as you might understand, that's like very, very beneficial to, walk around town without people looking and stuff like that.
Yes. Interesting. Was it... There are obviously many forms of illusionary disguises can be adopted. Some quite simple. Some would be available to a spellcaster of your own level. But I assume this was not a disguise. This was something more permanent. That's what you were implying?
Since I was born, I thought I was... but, well, is this... One second. I'm breaking character now. I think I was... I thought I was a human.
You thought you were human, yeah.
Yeah, but there.
I have a quick question. Just because
yes,
it wasn't... Because Tali cast Detect Magic when Pebble was nearby, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did Pebble give off any, indication that he was suffering from a magical affliction, like something that would change his... a magic spell that might have been cast on him to make him how he is now?
So you're talking as in, before when he was human?
No. In this manner, I've cast
this.
magic.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. No, it does not give off any.
Like a normal.
But also, even when you cast detect magic in the past, he didn't trigger anything that showed that it was affecting his form.
No, but now because he's literally changed form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I'm saying neither form has triggered any magical effects for you.
I see.
I understand. Just to kind of throw off, like, this is again a tangent, but Tali, roll me an Arcana check. Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know when you would I don't know when you would have had this thought, but you can have a thought relating to this.
Have a thought. Oh my god.
Give you a thought for 3. Not for a thought, I think.
Okay, I'm just like having a bit of a think, but it's fine. 17.
Yeah, 17.
Wow.
So again, I don't know when you would have had this, but your thoughts are there clearly has been a magical effect that has changed Pebble. And typically speaking, if someone changes forms, it's not like a natural thing. So one form or the other must be magical, but you think whatever has happened is there's an potential that the magic is so strong that your simple casting of detect magic wouldn't register it.
Oh, Jesus.
Like it's almost disguised, but you're not sure which of the two forms would be that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So we come back to Pebble, and you tell Madame Mulgrave that you, well, as far as you're aware, you always were human.
Yeah, and I tell her about the cocoon and
Yeah.
Well, everything from my point of view. I don't know if I was aware that I came out of. Well, I must have been, right?
Yeah.
Must have came out.
You saw the cocoon. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. I mean, to look upon you now, I see a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
And obviously, one of the common stories of hobgoblins is that they are raised amongst humans to believe they are humans. And some of them do naturally form disguises to blend in better. The whole point of that goblin prank, if you will, is that the humans raising the goblin should not realize they are raising one.
Was I meant to be... Where's the prank in that? Was I meant to be like a difficult child? Was I like hellish for my parents?
Potentially. When I say prank, I'm personally using the loosest of the terms. It's almost how the goblins themselves describe it. It is clearly it's a malicious thing to do, indeed. But the prank is, yes, swapping out a human child for a goblin.
That's just wrong.
But this does, if that is the case for yourself, imply that you have always been a goblin.
Okay.
And the disguise that would have placed upon you lasted up until recently.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Okay, continue.
But there are also powerful and ancient divine magics which can change the nature of one's being. They usually are... Let me check. As you watch as she kind of leans into her desk and pulls out some like dusty old tomes and kind of like flicks through them. Yes, druidic magic, not something that I'm as well versed with myself. But there is an ability. Yes, the druids, they refer to it as reincarnation. It is a bringing someone back from the dead. But as they do so, they create an entirely new body for that being. This can cause sometimes an elf to be reincarnated as an orc, or an orc to be reincarnated as a dwarf. It is possible that you encased in a cocoon, you said.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible that somehow you have triggered some form of a reincarnation, but it obviously does not sound like you died. It's perhaps a metamorphosis of some kind. Which kind of keeps flicking through the tome bit, like... There's no known magic here at work that would trigger a change of being such as this on a living creature, but magic is an unknown. We study it as best we can. She closes the tome and sort of rests a hand on it. People try and capture what magic is in words, in forms. The druids do it through knowledge of nature. The arcane do it through written equations. Even the clerics themselves, who claim it to be for divine providence, they channel magic through prayers. We try and understand what it is and try and bring structure and form to it, but it will always be elusive and ephemerate. It is a force outside of mortal comprehension in of itself. So there will always be things that exist that just because a magic effect can exist doesn't mean there's a spell that we can recreate it. And it is possible that in your uncontrollable magic you have created something that maybe did not exist before then. But I am speculating, and again, it is also very possible that you just have always been a hobgoblin.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else apart from this? Any like vague? Do you have any memories of perhaps being a goblin, or has anything else that has happened to you recently that may give us a bit more clues to what is happening?
Not recently, right? Sorry, breaking card.
So,
not recently.
That's
right?
one. Well, there's two things happened. A, you've had a fairy turn up called Tisk, who says you used to be friends.
But that's not. But recently, well, yeah.
And then yeah, and then also when you were in the cocoon, you had this vague memory of playing games with your friends in the woods, and those friends clarified, and you suddenly they were goblins.
Oh, true. So, how much does Pebble relate? Does even Tally know all this?
I don't think you told Tally about any of this.
I don't think you told anybody about Tisk or about your...
To be fair, you have been very busy since this happened. This happened after the fire at the pub. This happened yesterday, and you have been like running around since then. So you haven't really had a chance, honestly.
Okay. Pebble. What would Pebble do? I think Pebble would like to. I mean, Pebble is a little bit intimidated by Madame Morgrave.
Yes, she does cut an opposing figure. She does sit tall on this like big, heavy wooden chair again with the little wolf and the little raven on it. She kind of leans over the desk, like even in a sitting position, she kind of still looms over you. She's a very tall, very skinny woman, and again cuts that kind of vision of like kind of Quella DeVille mixed with Morticia Adams. It's kind of her vibe.
Pebble's not gonna lie though. Pebble's just gonna say, there's like so many things have happened. Like last night I had like a dream. Well, I remember the dark chapters in my past, whatever. But I think I need time to.
Understandable.
Is there any facility in this manor to like? Maybe, I mean, it's great that, you have this fantastic library here. Like, but I would like to get better at the magic that I already know as well. Like, I would like to practice. I would like to contain it somehow.
Yes, that is something we can look to do. Possibly more easily than answering the nature of your origins. Wild magic, as such as you experience it, it can be a beautiful and potent thing, wonderful to behold, but understandably very dangerous. If it is something that you wish to, a burden that you wish to be alleviated of, there are options to add more control into your nature. We can try and look within you to find out if there is a cause of your magic that perhaps we can tap into to kind of give you more control. Or just simply with time and patience and practice, we can try and help you master your control of magic to the point where these adherent events of magic are more under control. But either way, I think perhaps sometimes speaking to Gable. Gable has a decent understanding of magic. He's been studying here for now some many years, and he might be able to help you with some simple practices. We have the battle room downstairs, which is a safe space to practice. I imagine for someone like you who spent all your life in and around Brattonshire, I can think from your accent, and perhaps Tumlin County. You probably have not been in a place where magic has been welcomed enough to practice it openly. Understandably, and that's why this whole facility exists. So I think if you spend some time practicing your magic in a safe space, understanding more about what can trigger your wild surges and what maybe how you can overcome them or withheld them, that will do you some good.
Thank you so much, Madam Mulgrave. How safe are we talking? Pebble is like basically afraid of what, like the explosive nature.
Anyone else? Yeah.
And the explosive nature of his magic, his own magic as well.
Sure. As far as talking, I assure you, none can hear into this room. All conversations had within are private.
Oh no, I mean the training room. How safe?
Sorry.
Does it mean that if I, accidentally
I
cast something
can assure
horrible,
you, you might do harm to those within the room with you. Unfortunately, their nature is dangerous, but the room itself is impervious to damage. It will not be harmed by anything you deal within.
Cool.
And also, if something should happen to anyone here, well, we do have magical means of healing within the premises, so we handle the matters as best we can, but it's understandable that this is a dangerous thing we are trying to tame.
Then I will be also the first to offer my help in healing them.
Good. I appreciate that.
And Pebble leaves and he looks for Tally, literally. Not for Gable.
Yeah.
For Tally.
Of course. Why not?
But Tally's with Gable, right? Or no?
Well, yes. Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's find out. So we will jump across to Tally.
Yeah.
So Tally, we'll start with some of your downtime first, and then we'll join you when Pebble kind of catches you some point midway.
Yeah, because Tally does have a few things. I'm happy to maybe resolve some in between sessions if that's
sure.
Because there are a few things, but yes, I don't know what to start with. There's the alchemy stuff is the thing that I think she would be doing. Like if we think about the timeline from last session, the alchemy stuff was the thing she was doing first.
Yes.
So it was trying to actually go and find, going to the library then, because I want to find a book on the Grey Mark disease, but also other books, vampire books.
Let's start with the library then.
End of the world book.
Yes. Let's start with the library then.
Casual stuff.
So
yeah,
we'll do investigation checks for each one then. So what do you want to start with?
Disease books, Grey Mark books.
Okay, roll me an investigation check. Let's see how well you dig stuff up there.
Can I just guidance myself on all of these?
This one, yes, you can do.
Investigation. I am okay at that. I take it back. I got a 4.
You take it back.
No, a 5.
You're
a 5.
fantastic at it.
Ooh, a 5.
You're not just okay. Yeah. You're fantastic.
I was also going to ask Icreador actually when
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe she can have a look by herself, not find anything. Too many books.
Yeah.
And then be like,
So you don't, however, find a Creador, because you haven't, Creador hasn't revealed himself to you since you've been in the library.
Oh, that's fair.
However, you do find, as you're kind of searching around the library, desperately looking, you find curled up like a loaf on a chair, Spud.
But I can't talk to Spud. Spud doesn't speak common, right?
Spud is there.
Okay. Anyone else? Is there anyone else around? Any other being around?
I'll let you roll a perception check. Like, knowing that Spud is around, who you've seen disappear, obviously could help you maybe track down something else.
Ooh, wait, perception check.
Yeah.
A 16.
16, okay.
Yeah.
You... one thing.
Also, just lost Spud, if they need to.
Yes. I suppose because you just snore heavily on a chair, but it means you also get, a creator might be around. You find, sort of wandering around a little bit aimlessly because of, the fact that Christine has been ignoring her, you find Eretha Christmas.
Oh.
She's sort of just pottering around, she's not in the library itself, there's like a sitting room attached to the library. You just see her sort of sitting there with a cup of tea, kind of like just humming along, drinking some tea, trying to make the most. Probably like knitting, I imagine. That's kind of the vibes you get to me. Yeah, you find Aerith for Christmas.
Can I go and like gently knock on like the door, like the window next to the?
Yeah, there's kind of, it's not a door, it's like an open thing, but you can like knock on almost like the archway a little bit.
Hi.
Oh, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just enjoying a spot of tea and continuing with a lovely scarf and making. Do you think it's her colour? And just holds up the scarf, and you can see it kind of is this kind of beautiful orange scarf, and you clearly is this for Christina.
It's a very beautiful colour. I'm sure Christina will appreciate it very much.
It's a lot colder here than it is where we're from, so I don't want to get a chill.
That's good. It's good. It's nice to have a family who look out for each other, you know. Charlie was just wondering. I'm assuming you know this library quite well.
I have spent some time here, yes. Not as well as the owner of it, but I know my way around it. Is this something you need help with?
Yes, please. I'm a little lost. I have a few things I'd like to try to find books on.
Well, let's see if we can help you then. She sort of gently puts the scarf down, knitting needles and all on like a table, and she stands up. And this is where you are reminded once again that, unlike Madame Morgrave, who's sort of 7 foot tall, Aerith for Christmas is about 4 foot tall.
I'm like 6 foot something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Great. I'm
this
just
is
like, oh, okay, yes.
This woman is nearing kind of dwarf territory. There's this just very sort of bubbly and kind of like dyed pink hair, kind of like a little like bun. Sort of hobbles towards you, a little walking stick, and like that. What are we looking for then?
Well, first I was trying to find some information on a disease. I don't know the actual name of the disease, but it's referred to commonly. It's referred to by some people as the grey mark, like a disease people get from spending lots of time around ichor. It shows itself by like greying of the skin. First and foremost.
Interesting. Let me just check something. A spell. See if she got that. See if she can do the spell, and if this will help her. That's you.
To be fair, I do have locate object. Technically, that well.
Okay, that doesn't help too much. Well, let's have a look then, shall we? There is a section around here on diseases and curses and some such. So she starts helping you. So I'll let you roll investigation check again with advantage.
Okay.
As her spell is not going to help her.
With advantage and guidance.
Yeah, and guidance.
So investigation with advantage. Roll that first. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. So a 22.
22. That is so much better. So with help from her, she's kind of guiding you, and like the problem is not that libraries are a common thing. There's no Dewey Decimal System here, but the kind of way this is laid out is kind of sporadic. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. However, you kind of see as Aerith seems to be able to navigate it. That it clearly isn't random. It's just that whatever logic is here isn't obvious. But Aerith does seem to know how to navigate her sister's library, essentially. And she does kind of point you in direction, and eventually you come across a book. It is on magical afflictions and curses. You kind of spend some time skimming through it, and you find a section titled Necrom Yarlow.
Necrom what?
Necrom Yarlow.
Okay.
I'll chuck it in chat if you want. Obviously a name you haven't heard of before. But the description of it bears striking resemblance to what you have heard referred to as Greymark. to the point where you're pretty confident this is the same affliction it is referring to. A kind of greying of the skin, a sort of rapid aging for those who are afflicted of it, etc. But it does have some more information about Necrum Yalo in there as well. There's a few theories. It is theorized that, this is not theorized, it is historically, Necrum Yalo is thought to have been a punishment from the gods, and occurs when people or beasts touch Ica, things that were not made for mortal hands.
Ooh.
It talks about how there are several theories that the sea itself, the abyssal sea, is partly made of Ica, which is why there is a history of people who maybe spend too much time at sea or eating sea creatures have been afflicted with Necrum Yalo.
Okay.
There's also a theory attached to that theory, which is this is a theory why orcs are all grey-skinned, potentially. That they may have some sort of natural form of Necrum Yalo, but also a resistance to it. Yeah. But you would know that orcs themselves are a seafaring, basically, nation or individuals, and although they are now integrated within the sort of Arnhem mainland, their ancestry all comes from Hrazelfir, which is their own islands, which are a seafaring nation.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, go on.
But most importantly, you see a section on cures. And it is somewhat frustrating, as it basically just mentions that the only known cures and the recorded cures is from the sinners repenting for their actions.
I imagine like Tali's just like deep breaths. Because that's not true.
Well,
I mean,
roll me a religion check.
Yeah, well, is it? Okay.
Or Arcana check.
Okay. Can I? Do I get advantage with that? Being religious and being from the abbey.
Sure, I will let you have advantage on that.
You can say no. I'm just gonna be cheeky.
Nah, we'll do that.
And I'd like to guide. If I can, but I got a 12 and then a 13 with the guide, but it's not great.
13.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's enough to kind of start a thought process off. If you don't come to a complete conclusion, but you kind of think about that, like sinners repenting for their actions, and trying to think about how that would process. And it kind of makes you wonder if probably the way in which a sinner would repent for their actions is to probably do so with a priest of the abbey, most likely. Which then leads you to think that maybe there's some sort of divine magic that might be able to cure this.
Nice.
If a sinner came to a priest asking for repentance, and maybe the priest thought they deserved repentance, perhaps then the priest was persuaded to the priest was nice. Perhaps the priest was persuaded to cast some sort of divine expulsion upon them to cleanse them of a disease.
Okay, all right, that's good.
It doesn't lead you to a conclusion of like what they may be doing, but that gives you some sorts of perhaps, you know, this.
It doesn't need a troll. Like troll's blood doesn't cure it; it stops it from progressing. And then there's a separate cure because Splint still had it all on him. Like
yes, he still had some on him. Yes,
but it permanently halts the progress of it to it become really bad. And then
so, one second, I know that I'm not in the scene, but does this mean that the abbey educates priests to cast this kind of magic, like as like?
So
we haven't seen this.
So just to answer your question, you and I, there's a thing with basically the hypocrisy around magic in my world, which is exactly. You guys cast magic, which is bad, but priests, they channel the divine influence of the gods, so that's okay.
No, but not only that, but also there's a known cure. There potentially is a known cure by the abbey that is not accessible to anyone besides, if you gain a priest's favor, which is like fucking...
Yeah, well, of course, as Cantania is discovering, they believe that you have committed a sin for doing this, so the punishment in themselves, so they already remove the punishment if they think you deserve of removing the punishment, essentially.
Yeah.
But yes, they're as potentially withholding a cure.
A cure to something that's deadly.
Yeah. I would also say that it's not in the cures kind of part of this. It does talk about how this doesn't always work. Not everyone. Because again, part of the sort of channeling divine influence of the god thing is not all priests are clerics, as in the class. There are plenty of people in this world who are a priest who have no magical abilities. But then sometimes a priest is a cleric and then therefore can actually do magic. Like I said, channel miracles. Tali, you obviously being one of them. So,
have I ever seen this happen?
Not someone curing this disease, no. You.
But curing other diseases. I know I have power to heal people.
You have seen people curing other diseases. You have probably also done it yourself to a lesser degree back when you were at Aston Abbey.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I have other books that I'd like to find.
Mm-hmm. What's next?
What's next? I want to find something about Ysporoth.
Okay. Roll me investigation check.
Vampires in general.
Mm-hmm.
Investigation check.
Yeah. So, it's fine.
Oh my god, it's awful. It's real bad.
I'll be right back.
No worries.
7.
That with advantage and inspiration.
Oh, not with advantage, no.
Yeah, because Eretha's...
I didn't know if it was still...
She hasn't gone anywhere.
Wow. 10.
10, okay. So you do find a book on vampirism. It does detail most of what you already know about them. How they obviously need feed. If they don't feed, they can go into a frenzy. And how if they hold off for feeding too long, they basically turn into a monster. It also talks about there is this almost other type of vampire. The book itself doesn't know that there's this secret hidden kind of ritual where a vampire essentially doubles down on being a vampire, but gains more control over their nature. It is referred to as a vampire noble.
Ooh.
Okay.
And vampire nobles, they basically lose the possibility to go into a frenzy. They gain complete control of their abilities.
Yeah.
But do commit themselves to the curse and become undead as a result of it.
Okay.
An important part of in that description you learn, though, and it's kind of fun that Will isn't here for this, is
yes,
the ability to make a vampire thrall, which is what Chad technically is, can only be done by vampire nobles.
Yes.
Wait.
Vampire nobles, thralls can be essentially controlled by vampire nobles.
Does Tali put together that Chad would be an equivalent of a thrall?
Yes. That you've heard talks of, like, he's not the bestial form you've heard about, and he clearly isn't a noble because he's not undead yet, so he must be in that early stage, which is also probably why he can walk in the sunlight, you're pretty sure. In fact, this book will probably have a section on the thrall, so that you can confirm that. Like, Chad can walk in the sunlight and stuff like that, but as a thrall, he is beholden to the wills of his master, who would be the vampire noble who made him. So it's not that any vampire noble, not every vampire noble can control any thrall.
That's real bad, though.
Specifically, the vampire noble who created him can control him.
Oh, that's really bad. Oh no! Great. Is there anything else about like? Is there anything else? Like, is there any information on how you progress from being a thrall to like the whatever next stage? Is it that you have to double down? Is that the next bit?
There is some sort of, it says, this book literally says there is some secret hidden ritual.
Okay, that's fine.
But the book itself, the author clearly doesn't know any further about that.
It's really bad. I'm gonna shut that book.
This is
you presume it is something that is a secret amongst vampires themselves.
Because I thought the big news would be that the infection has to be done premeditatively, but no, there's more to it. It's like the control.
I'll put that book back.
But
I'm gonna
jam
that book like right in the back so no one can ever get it again.
Hi, Will.
Do we tell Will?
No, we don't tell
Will.
Will. Doesn't know anything.
I picked the exact wrong/right time to
yes.
Yes. Sally just did a little bit of research on vampirism and learned one thing.
It's fine.
And we were shook.
And we never talk about that book again.
I will just add one last thing for Tali's sake, which will you just pretend you don't hear this. Based on what you've just learnt there, Tali, there you go. You don't think Chad is possible making another vampire?
That's fine.
Yeah, just saying.
That's now not my concern.
I know that's not your concern, but it's good to have it. Right, Will, you come back.
This is golden.
Oh, good.
That works out quite well.
It does.
We put that back.
Yeah.
Cool, that's vampirism. What next?
So I couldn't find anything on Yusproth, but Yusproth existed in the world that existed before this one.
Correct.
So there's potential that he went by. He's changed names over the years, right? So is there any information on like the old world and like I don't know, like is what I'm trying to get at, like any?
Roll me one last investigation check.
I can tell the lady. I can't remember her name.
Madam.
Eretha.
That's the one. Eretha. I'm looking. Tali's looking for information on a being that is just Yusproth. Etc.
Roll me investigation check with advantage and guidance.
Yes. Where's my? Oh, come on! Don't fail me now. Where did I put my? Oh, I don't know. Okay, fine. 15.
15. Okay. As you are basically getting rid of the vampirism book you have, you accidentally nudge another book in the bookcase, which then starts to fall out. And this is a book very thin, but it's a book of legends referring to vampires. And talks about more about specific vampires.
Yeah, because I'm also looking at if there's any connection between like vampires and like the Archimedean prophecy, because there seems to be one.
This book of legends doesn't tell you too much, to be honest. It tells you like some very like infamous kind of vampires, but it does talk about a unnamed first vampire.
Okay.
Stuff that you kind of already pieced together a little bit about Yusproth, like is that the story of the blah blah words and all that kind of stuff. Just doesn't name him as Yusproth. The only thing that does stand out about this is something that this first vampire had access to, which was they own a flying castle that they use to travel around the realms.
Lovely. Convenient.
Oh. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. All right, it's fine. It's fine.
No.
I just have some thoughts. It's fine.
But in that legend, there's nothing there. That legend itself doesn't even relate to them being from the previous world or Archimedean. That is just about the first vampire as like a contained unit.
I mean, Eretha is a sort of a scholarly type person, or is that more modern? Because basically, I want to tell someone, like, I think there's a connection between vampires.
She's not. So yeah, you can tell her.
Right? I've had some. I just have this. Okay.
Interesting. How have you come upon that theory?
It's a kind of complicated answer.
We live in a complicated world.
Does it matter how? Does it matter how?
It just gives me more information to help you formulate ideas. But you don't have to tell me anything.
Let's say hypothetically, I met a vampire.
You're looking well for it.
Mm-hmm. Let's say I met one, and let's just say let's just hypothetically, they have to do their thing to like, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Makes sense.
And on the times when they do that, let's just say I ended up sleeping in the same building as.
Okay, what do you do in your private life?
No, I'm not like that.
My business.
Not like just in the same building, and then I noticed. Tali noticed.
People these days will do
anything.
anything.
It's not like that. It just. And I noticed I heard that they talk in their sleep, and what they say in their sleep is Akmadun. It is that prophecy.
That's interesting. Just gonna roll a dice for her real quick, see if that triggers anything.
Is there anything?
This vampire. Do they assert any sort of unusual abilities beyond the normal ken of a vampire?
Well, Charlie doesn't really know what's normal for vampires.
I'll say for your sake, Sarah, everything you've read so far about vampires doesn't mention anything about like psionic abilities.
That's true. Yeah. Yes, they do.
I think you've met what is the term? Sonica. Yes, the vampire Sonica.
Okay, what does that mean?
I mean, essentially a psychic vampire. She kind of scrolls through the thing like with a walking stick, kind of running through books, and pulls out this very thin book. Like it is like maybe 5 pages, still bound, but like 5 pages. And she opens up, and it's this ancient parchment. Like, yes, the vampire Sonica. They are probably one of the rarest amongst vampires. They are triggered through means no one knows, but it is not. If you haven't had much experience with them, not surprising, but the ability to. The sort of psionic nature of them is not normal for a vampire.
They have to be made by another one of them, like another psychic vampire.
No.
Like a freak.
They occur almost naturally speaking, or unnaturally, I don't know, but randomly. I think is the point. There seems to be no known traces or obvious links to what caused them. The only thing about them I do know for certain is that they are usually destined to become very powerful vampires. They do very well and rise very high within the society if they survive. They are by nature more powerful than most vampires, and as such pose a threat to those around them. It is very often that their masters will slay them before they have a chance to even grow to a powerful enough state to challenge them.
Can vampires like sense each other from like far away?
No, they do not have no normal ability. Although that might be within the ken of Sonica.
Oh, okay. I guess that would.
A powerful vampire Sonica may have that, especially if they were tied as a master relationship. Potentially, they might be able to sense the blood within their thralls. But if they were just a run-of-the-mill vampire, as it were, no, they would have no additional sense to know where their thralls are.
Okay. But how does this relate to the end of the world?
That's a very good question. I mean, the Sonicas are, again, they are tied to the sort of psionic and nature. Maybe they've just... Archimedean is a very potent event, and it is coming upon us soon. It is possible that a psionically attuned being may have just sensed it's coming, essentially.
I suppose that would make sense. Okay. Yeah.
In the same way that we have many stories of priests and druids having cataclysmic visions before great events, could fall into that nature.
Yeah. Yep.
It seems to have unsettled you, dear. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's still very troubling.
I hope though useful. As troubling as it may be.
It is useful. It's just this whole situation is a little.
Archimedean is a trying time, let's call it, to be polite. Things will get more difficult as time goes on. I apologize that I have burdened you, your companions, and Christina with this.
Okay.
Things fall the way they do.
Indeed,
but...
and Talia believes we're here for a reason. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Thank you.
Is there anything more I can help you with in this moment?
Unless you have any specific books on Intin in general. Oh no, it's fine if you don't. It's not common.
Intin is a hard one. Many things about Intin written were destroyed when the Abbey rose to prominence.
Oh. I didn't know that.
To hide their tracks. To rewrite history, essentially. I suspect, being who you are, you know more about Intin than most ever will.
I don't feel like Tali knows that much, but yes.
And yet that still is probably a great deal more than most.
I didn't know they had relics, these jewels. And it's funny because there's, I have a spear, and there's a spear, but it's not, it has a jewel, but it's not my spear, but I use a spear, so isn't that fun? What a fun coincidence.
She puts a hand like up onto not quite your shoulder, but your arm, because you can't reach. Like, if one of the Red X is meant to come to you, dear, I'm sure it will in time.
He doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't know anything.
Perhaps then he's the best person to hold it. These items are dangerous, and knowledge of them. If the wrong people knew that you bring 7 of these together, you grant one wish, that could be the folly of the entire world.
Seems like
perhaps it's better for someone to have no idea what they hold than someone who knows what it is, and eventually could give way to the corruption of the idea that they could rebuild this world in a better image or something. There is a dangerous potential that comes from this, which is why they've been kept apart for so long. We only risk it now because it is the only way we can foresee to prevent Archimedes, to break a cycle that has happened countless times before.
Yes, there is wisdom in that. It's just.
And perhaps you being a chosen of Intin is reason enough not to, well, put all the eggs in one basket, as it were.
I suppose. Yes.
But I'm sure you have a part to play in this, and will be revealed in time.
You're right. You're probably. But yes, that's thank you for helping.
Well, welcome. Or if you need me, I will just be over there, continuing my scarf.
Yes.
She sort of hobbles away from you. While you're left to contemplate that in the library, we'll shift across to Chadranethius, who hopefully has finished writing his letter.
I finally finished. I didn't want to interrupt because actually that was all really nice and actually really dramatic and serious. But I love the idea of her being like, it says here that the vampire, the psychic vampires, it's when really, really good-looking, charming, sexy people get turned into vampires. The nurse does. But yeah, obviously not. That's not what we're going for. So, here is so Chad with the memory of the recently from his dream of the flashback of the sort of the very, very awkward dinner that he had. That sort of come back to his thing, and he's feeling a little bit kind of in the face of all this Archimedes stuff. He's feeling a little bit kind of, oh, what can I do with all of this? Well, what's something that I can do? Okay, well. He still wants to obviously, take the fight to the masses and all that type of stuff, and he's seeing this opportunity to potentially get quite a lot of political and martial power through this thing. So this is what he's written. I assume there are like quills and parchment and things that he can have. To the noble Septemvir of Augustria, esteemed protector of Riverdan and trusted ally of Vertine, Comte Henry Timolf, I, Tradronethius de Vertine III, do write humbly and respectfully, to humbly and respectfully precipitate confabulations relating to the future relationship between our great houses. I wield this quill myself to make clear that my thoughts, as heir to the seat of Vertine, are my own to command, independently of my honourable father's wishes, even when our wills align, and also to show you the respect that you are due as a leader of our great nation by addressing you directly. It is my intention to honour your and my father's wish for me to take your fair daughter Emily's hand in marriage. I assure you this is not an act of humble capitulation, but rather an active self-standing acknowledgement of the invaluable benefits this act will bring our lands. Furthermore, I beseech you that we should no more wait to unite our houses in this manner than a ship would wait to unfurl its headsail in a favourable wind. It is my belief that we should acknowledge the exigency of this matrimony, and we should work to quell any delay to the ceremony. I am my own man, master of my own decisions for both my birthright and my heart, and there is no need for us to wait until my father is no longer indisposed for us to act. My current diplomatic mission to Brattonshire, the return address is for my distinguished lodgings, prevents me from conducting this conversation in person. But please do not delay in confirming by response that we are alike in our desire to consolidate our land's resources without need for hindrance. I am certain my father need not be consulted. You know as well as I that he values initiative and alacrity in matters of state as much as he does in combat, and will not find fault in these arrangements. I anticipate your consensus. Yours sincerely, Tradronethius de Vertine III.
Woo! That's lovely.
Excellent.
Be my hero moment, if you like. that's
yeah,
fine.
Sure. Well, actually, that is amazing because I was just going to ask you for a persuasion check off the back of that.
Cool.
We'll just take your hero moment as part of that persuasion check.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, cool. So I assume you're going to find some post boy or someone to send that off.
Yeah, I'm working on the assumption there are postal facilities. Obviously, the return address would be now. Would the return address be the Morgrave Manor? What was the original name for it?
Sanatorium.
Oh, so the sanatorium for the arcane afflicted.
Or would it be possible for the return address to kind of be faked as like almost like have like a PO box of? Would they be able to have like a? Sorry.
But it could
the five fellows as well.
Would that be? But I guess that would still
Yeah.
give. But I still would still reveal like your actual location though. Might.
Yeah,
not.
but it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to hide the manor for that purposes, then just doing the five fellows would obviously cover that.
Yeah, five fellows, and it's not like he's gonna Google the five fellows and realize that it's not a really nice place.
Yeah.
So I'll send
Five
it.
Fellows has a nice ring to it,
Yeah.
you are on a diplomatic mission. Of course, you're staying somewhere. It's got to be some sort of
Absolutely.
inn or something. So
Yeah. So yes, I'll be sending that through whatever means
and even if he had heard of the Five Fellows, he would know it as the base of operations for the legendary venturing company Small and Mighty. Like that is the only way it could possibly be known. So.
Yeah. That's
cool. Very nice. So yes, you arranged to have that sent off to Henry Timolf, Henri Timolf. But yes,
the Henri. Okay,
Henri. It is the French ring, isn't it? So it's Comte Henri Timolf.
Comte Henri Timolf.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Comte being the French equivalent of Count.
I can't believe it.
I think on that lovely note, that's where we'll end today's session. So you guys finish running around. So we'll say I'll write
there
up.
were other things. Yeah, there were other things for target we can handle outside of the session.
We'll have an outside session. That's fine. Because we're good at wrapping up time.
Yes.
So for Chad and Christine, I will have responses for you for next time we play.
Neat.
to kind of wrap up our end of our downtime period. Sarah will handle everything for you out of character, and then we'll just talk about it for the next session.
A bit will include talking to Chad, so we might want to do that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yep.
But we'll try and speed our way through it next session because we should get to you guys finally entering the Labyrinth Librarian.
Hey, fantastic.
Oh!
Yeah.
Definitely ready.
And it might just be Christina standing at the door, opening the door, and like, "Hey, go! Off you go, guys! Toodaloo!"
Bye.
Bye. But yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
Cool. So let me get an outro notes because I realized I got to shut down the stream now, haven't I? I was just like, oh, cool, we're done. Oh, good. She was like, oh wait, I got to do stuff. So yes, Will, who would you like to give the inspiration token to next time?
Now this is us conflicted on this, and I
It's
did
always
change my
difficult on
mind.
roleplay heavy sessions, isn't it?
Yeah, I did change my mind on this. I'm gonna give it to Tali for the decision to not fill me in on whatever it was that you just found out. That by itself is
I
the
validated my choices. I feel
Yep. I can respect that. And I'm not gonna go back and watch the stream. So I don't know. I don't know that.
I know whenever it's revealed to you in character.
Don't let Ryan tell you if he goes back and watches the rest of the stream.
No, exactly.
That'd be a very brash thing to do as well. Be like, oh my god, I found out this thing.
That would be.
I mean, technically speaking, in character, only Tali knows at the moment anyway, so
yeah,
there's not a lot of reason for it to be discussed widely yet anyway. So cool. Yeah, I think that's very well deserved for the roleplay choice.
Yes. I like
cool. I believe we have some new followers.
Oh,
right. Can someone do me a favor telling me the names of our new followers?
We had one new follower. We had Soul the Seeker.
Soul the Seeker, thank you so much for following us. I saw you quite active in chat today, so I hope you had a lovely time. Thank you very much for joining us on this amazing quest we're on.
Yay.
I'm glad we entertained you. Very, very glad. It warms our heart.
And just because she's my friend, thank you to Implicit Demand for joining us for a bit.
Yay.
But also subscribe. What are you doing? Not subscribed? Like, wow. What's that?
Even though I will just guilt trip you into subscribing.
Yeah, exactly.
But cool. So yes, I hope everyone had a good time watching us today. And if you did, we'll be back here in 2 weeks at the same time. If you follow us and turn on notifications, you get a reminder when we go live. If you want to rewatch our last session, it is on YouTube, and this episode will be on YouTube next week on the weekend. You can also find us on Twitter at Small and Mighty. At Smitey Games. And that's pretty much it, guys. So we've been Small and Mighty. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.